The Priestess's time travel. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 176, Immortal Path 24. The Grand Palace Master's injury has healed. The man, Zhongyais, answered. However, although the injury has healed, her cultivation has not improved at all in the past 100 years. The destruction of the Beihou Palace and the death of her two sisters affected Su Qingni's state of mind. She almost went astray several times, and her cultivation naturally did not improve at all. Su Qingni's consciousness had seen Su Qingni and understood Su Qingni's situation. She took out the cushion she got when she first explored the immortal ruins and threw it to Zhongyais. This cushion has the effect of concentrating the mind and spirit. You can give it to Su Qingni. Zhongyais took the cushion and was happy and even more guilty. He said, You can give it to her yourself. Su Qingni refused. I won't see her. The Grand Palace Master misses you and the Third Palace Master very much. You are sisters. Since you have returned from the catastrophe, how can you not see the Grand Palace Master? Zhongyais said hurriedly. I have reincarnated and am already another person. Su Qingni and I are no longer sisters. Su Qingni said lightly. Zhongyais said, if you don't have sisterly feelings for the Grand Palace Master anymore, why did you come to the 100 Flowers Palace? And why did you come to us? Did Su Qingni come just to find him? Zhongyais was distressed. Although he felt extremely guilty towards Su Qingni, he really didn't have any feelings for her. If Su Qingni insisted on him continuing their relationship as husband and wife, how could he refuse her without hurting her? Su Qingni didn't know what Zhongyais was thinking at the moment. If she knew, she would definitely give him a middle finger. Do you think you are so handsome? You let the girl miss you even after she was let down by you. Indeed, the original owner didn't forget you, but the original owner was resentful because of your abandonment, and she no longer had any feelings for you. I just came to settle the cause and effect of the previous life. From now on, I have nothing to do with you and Su Qingni. Su Qingni said, taking out 2 jade bottles and throwing them to Zhongyais. The bottle tied with yellow silk thread contains a 6-turn golden pill. Eating 1 pill can increase your cultivation by 100 years. It is for Su Qingni. As for the other bottle, Su Qingni slowed down her speech and said word by word, that is the Yang boosting pill. Yang boosting pill. Zhongyais suddenly opened his eyes wide in shock. Yes, it is the kind of Yang boosting pill you are thinking of. Su Qingni said, you blame me for taking your yuan Yang, and now I give it back to you. We are even. After speaking, Su Qingni turned into a swordlight and broke through the air. Sen Xiaoling hurried to catch up. This time, she, a spectator, watched a big show and learned the secrets of the master's previous life. Well, the master will not kill her to silence her, right? But was the man's eyes blinded by Mi Xiangong? He actually didn't like the master liking other women. Which woman is better than the master? In the cave, Zhongyais looked at the cave entrance and couldn't look away for a long time. He can now cultivate to become a celestial being, but he is not as happy as he thought before. Xiaoling. Su Qingni said. Master. Sen Xiaoling hurried forward. Su Qingni said, you have already reached the level of Liangxuhedeo cultivation, and with the magic weapon I gave you, you have a certain ability in the fairy world, and you can go out alone. Sen Xiaoling was shocked and said aggrievedly, Master, don't you want me? Su Qingni said, it's not that I don't want you, but the fledgling has grown up and it's time to fly alone. I brought you from the mortal world to the fairy world. Before you had the power to protect yourself, your safety was my responsibility. But now you have the power to protect yourself, and the fairy world knows that you are mine, and most of them will give you face. You will not fall if you go out alone. It's time to be independent. But I am the master's servant, how can I leave the master? Sen Xiaoling didn't want to leave Su Qingni's side, and hurriedly found an excuse. From now on, you are no longer my servant, but my disciple. Su Qingni said. Disciple. Sen Xiaoling was stunned, and her heart was full of surprises. Disciple. In the fairy world, the relationship between master and disciple is closer than that between relatives. Why? Don't you want to? Su Qingni tilted her head. I do. Sen Xiaoling quickly knelt down and kowtowed to Su Qingni 9 times. Get up. Su Qingni chuckled, flicked her sleeves, and helped send Xia Erling up. My past life's karma has been resolved. After that, I will retreat to break through the realm. I don't have time to accompany you. Go out on your own. It turned out that the master didn't want me anymore. Sen Xia Erling breathed a sigh of relief and left with several top magic weapons that Su Qingni had given her. Su Qingni chose the first immortal ruins she found as her cave and began to retreat. The so-called retreat of Su Qingni is to awaken the soul of the original owner from sleep. While the original owner is confused, Su Qingni packs all the experiences of these years into the original owner's brain, making the original owner think that they are all her own experiences. Although the original owner was somewhat puzzled as to why her personality had changed so much, she only thought that she had been stimulated and that this had led to a drastic change in her personality. She liked her current personality very much, which was better than the soft and indecisive self in her previous life. The original owner accepted the memories that Su Qingni had stuffed into her so smoothly, and successfully practiced according to the exercises that Su Qingni had given her. Now it was Su Qingni's turn to hide in the original owner's body. Although this was the case, Su Qingni was not trapped. She could release her consciousness and travel freely in the entire world, whether it was the mortal world, the immortal world or the upper world. She saw that Teixuan's had a very bad life in the upper world. He was no longer one of the high-ranking beings in the upper world. Not only did his territory in the upper world shrink, but even the Qiankan mirror was stolen. The Qiankan mirror in the upper world was the mother mirror. The person who stole it used the mother mirror to recall the child spirit that fell into the lower world to the side of the mother mirror. That person did not have his own power in the immortal world, so he did not give the child mirror back to the lower world, but gave it to his friend as a means of communication. Since then, the immortal realm no longer had the tools and methods to contact the upper world, and the immortal realm was completely separated from the upper world. Su Qingni saw Zhuang Yiz and Su Qingsu coming out of their hiding place. Su Qingsu ate the 6-turn golden pill, and her cultivation increased a lot. In addition, Su Qingni did not die completely, but was reincarnated, which made Su Qingsu feel less guilty and her inner demons dissipated a lot. With the help of the meditation cushion given by Su Qingni, Su Qingsu broke through the realm of the early stage of the earthly immortal in one fell swoop and entered the middle stage of the earthly immortal, doubling her strength. Zhuang Yiz also ate the yang boosting pill to replenish his primordial yang. His qualifications and character are better than Su Qingsu's. The reason why he did not make much progress in his cultivation for many years was because of the limitation of the loss of primordial yang. Now that the primordial yang has been replenished, Zhuang Yiz's progress is faster. From the middle stage of the earthly immortal to the peak of the earthly immortal, he is only one step away from crossing the tribulation. Chapter 177 Immortal Road 25. The 3 immortals of the South Sea had to ascend to the upper realm. Now there are no celestial immortals in the immortal world, and the highest level of cultivation is the peak of earthly immortals. Zhuang Yiz's peak level of earthly immortals is considered the top existence in the immortal world. Now that they go out, even if they claim to be the remnants of the 100 Flowers Palace, no one dares to cause trouble for them. What's more, the Teixuan sect, which likes to cause trouble for side sects the most, has been forced to close its mountain gate. Su Qingsu and Zhuang Yiz went out of the mountain to find Su Qingni. Even if they didn't know what to say after finding her, they still wanted to find her and meet her. Perhaps, they wanted to say sorry and thank you in person. However, after coming into contact with the crowd, the two realized how incredible Su Qingni was. Her name spread throughout the immortal world, and she was the most unoffensive existence in the immortal world. The two listened to other people talking about Su Qingni's deeds. She defeated the 3 immortals of the South Sea, defeated the golden immortal patriarch of the Teixuan sect who came down from the upper world, and forced the Teixuan sect to close the mountain gate. They shrank inside their own mountain gate and dared not run to the immortal world to roam around and steal other people's magic weapons. They used the name of good and evil cannot coexist to kill the unorthodox sects or people they disliked. Su Qingsu and Zhuang Yiz looked at each other in surprise. Did they hear it right? The 3 immortals of the South Sea and Teixuan's engine were actually defeated by Su Qingni? The 3 immortals of the South Sea are the strength of celestial immortals, and Teixuan's engine is even a golden immortal. They are all unattainable existences, and they used to only look up to existences. They were defeated by Su Qingni? Exclamation mark. What kind of strength is Su Qingni? I'm afraid she is also a golden immortal. Zhuang Yiz swallowed his saliva and guessed. But those above the celestial immortals must ascend to the upper realm. If Qingni is already a golden immortal, why is she still staying in the lower realm? Su Qingni said. Zhuangyais, can't true Lord Taixun also go down to the mortal world? Maybe the second palace master has a magic weapon that can conceal his cultivation level, like the three immortals of the South China Sea. Su Qingni nodded in agreement and sighed. I never thought that Qingni would become so powerful after reincarnation. Zhuangyais, I guess the second palace master is so lucky that he must have inherited and left behind some powerful immortal. The 6-turn golden pill and the yang boosting pill are elixirs that even immortals want to get. The second palace master can only have them because of that immortal. Su Qingni forced a bitter smile. You said that my vision was too narrow at the beginning. I always thought that you were too soft-hearted and unambitious, and I only gave you a part of the skills that Jiao practiced, and even less for her to practice. If I had opened up resources and skills to Qingni from the beginning, would she have surpassed me in cultivation level long ago? When the 100 Flowers Palace was in trouble, there would be one more master to fight the enemy, and the 100 Flowers Palace would not have been destroyed by the Taixun sect. No. Zhuangyais said with certainty, the second palace master's previous temperament would never allow her to cultivate into a master. It was because of the series of hardships she endured that she is now what she is now. The fragrance of plum blossoms comes from the bitter cold. This sentence makes a lot of sense. Su Qingni just sighed when she heard it. Zhuangyais pulled his lips and showed a smile that could not be considered a smile. There is one good thing. The second palace master has avenged us. The current fate of the Taixun sect is really heartbreaking. Su Qingni also pulled her lips and said, yes, it's very satisfying. However, she didn't want such a great satisfaction. She wanted to go back to the past, back to the days when the Beihou Palace still existed and the sisters were still there. Zhuangyais and Su Qingni searched for a long time but couldn't find Su Qingni. The two finally gave up because of Zhuangyais' guess. Maybe the second palace master has settled the cause and effect of his previous life and has ascended to the upper realm. Then let's go back to practice in seclusion. When we ascend to the upper realm, we will look for Qingni again. Su Qingni turned her attention to Sen Xiaoling again. This girl's journey alone in the immortal realm was smooth. Her cultivation was not high but not low either. A bunch of top-level magic weapons could ensure that she could escape with her life even when facing a scattered immortal, and she could even defeat some scattered immortals with low cultivation. But Sen Xiaoling was not a disciple of the Taixun school. Unlike them, she was not as short-sighted, arrogant, and would offend anyone. Sen Xiaoling would not provoke people with cultivation above the level of scattered immortals. However, there were exceptions. If the scattered immortal was an evil cultivator, and was so mad that he did not treat ordinary people as human beings, he would wantonly kill ordinary people and use their souls to refine evil magic weapons. If Sen Xiaoling met him, she would definitely fight him hard. The cultivation of this evil cultivator had just entered the level of scattered immortals, but he had several evil magic weapons, which posed a great threat to Sen Xiaoling. Thanks to Sen Xiaoling's top-level magic weapon protection, she was able to turn danger into safety at the moment of life and death. Sen Xiaoling fought with the evil cultivator for 49 days and finally destroyed him. While dealing with the affairs left by the evil cultivator, Sen Xiaoling discovered that the evil cultivator had a junior brother who was also refining an evil magic weapon. That magic weapon had many requirements for souls, requiring the souls of 9,981 young men of Yang years, Yang months, Yang days and Yang hours, and 9,981 young women of Yin years, Yin months, Yin days and Yin hours. There were fewer people in the immortal world, and it would take time and effort to find so many people. It might also provoke some people from famous and upright sects or some powerful people. So, this junior brother very cleverly went to the mortal world to find sacrifices. Sen Xiaoling would naturally not ignore this news. She would not claim to be righteous, but she would never watch innocent people being killed and ignore it. What's more, the evil cultivators not only killed people, but the people who were killed could also have the opportunity to reincarnate. But when the souls were refined into magic weapons, they lost the opportunity to reincarnate. If the magic weapons were damaged, those souls would also disappear. Sen Xiaoling did not want to see such a tragic situation. Sen Xiaoling took the magic weapon with a trace of the breath of her junior brother, left the immortal world and went to the mortal world. Stepping on the land of the mortal world, Sen Xiaoling was filled with emotion. I'm back. I didn't expect that she would return to the mortal world one day. It's been 20 years, right? I wonder what happened to her good brother. What happened to Wan Qiulin and Duan Muyi, the adulterous couple? Are the three of them still entangled? Sen Xiaoling thought so but didn't want to go back to see those old friends. When she followed Su Qingni away, she left these people behind and completely cut off from the future. Sen Xiaoling followed a breath and found the junior brother of the evil cultivator. The junior brother hasn't started to refine the magic weapon yet, and he hasn't caught enough people. But it's almost time. The man is still short of 2 people, and the woman is still short of 1 person. It just so happened that someone took the initiative to deliver it to the door. The people who delivered it to the door were 2 young heroes and a beautiful female hero. They tracked down the disappearance of the man and the woman, and all the clues pointed to the valley where the evil cultivator lived. Chapter 178 Immortal Path 26. The 3 young men thought that they were able to find the kidnapper's lair because of their outstanding abilities and good luck, but they didn't know that the kidnappers had already taken a fancy to them and deliberately lured them here. When they gathered 29981, they could start refining magic weapons. When Sen Xiaoling found the valley, she happened to catch up with the 3 young men questioning the evil cultivator. "You are the one who captured so many people?" the tall and strong young man asked. The evil cultivator snorted. Another young man with a slightly gentle look said, "If you let everyone go, we can spare your life." The evil cultivator laughed. "You 3 are all in my pocket, and you still want to order me? Haha, it's ridiculous." The faces of the 3 young men turned ugly. They were not stupid. They realized that they might have been fooled. The beautiful heroine said softly, "Don't laugh, your laugh is so ugly." The evil cultivator stopped laughing and glared at the beautiful heroine. The evil cultivator is a cultivator, and the power of that look is not something that ordinary people can resist. The beautiful chivalrous woman felt that she had seen a ghost general for a moment, which was extremely terrifying. Her legs softened and she fell to the ground. Mingayu. The 2 young heroes hurried over to support the chivalrous woman. The chivalrous woman grabbed the arms of the 2 young heroes in fear and said in a trembling voice, "Haoqian, Yuang, this man is so scary, we are no match for him, let's leave quickly." "Don't be afraid." Su Haoqian comforted the chivalrous woman. "I have the Shangxing gang's contact fireworks on me. I will send them up to the sky immediately, and the people in the gang will come to rescue us as soon as possible." Han Yuang also comforted the chivalrous woman. "Mingayu, my father actually assigned me a secret guard to protect me from behind. I will call them over now." The 2 young heroes were both born into extraordinary families, so they had the confidence to take the beautiful chivalrous woman everywhere. The chivalrous woman heaved a sigh of relief when she heard this. Just as she was about to speak, she heard the evil brother laughing and said, "Are these the secret guards you mentioned?" Then the evil brother swung his right hand and shot out more black gas, which split into 8 in midair, like 8 black ropes, flying into the distance. After a while, the 8 ropes tied up 1 person each and flew back from a distance. The 8 people fell to the ground, right in front of the 3 young men. The 3 were all stunned. What was happening before their eyes could no longer be explained by martial arts. It was more like what? The 2 young heroes searched their minds for some explanation they had seen before. Han Yuang was the first to find the clue. You are an immortal." After hearing what Han Yuang said, Su Haoqian suddenly remembered, "Legend has it that immortals exist, and my ancestors were instructed by immortals. But can immortals do evil?" Han Yuang said, "People are divided into good and evil, and immortals are naturally good and bad. We are unlucky and may have encountered an evil immortal." Su Haoqian did not hesitate any longer, took out fireworks from his arms and threw them into the sky. However, the fireworks had just flown up 3 or 4 meters when they were blown up by the evil cultivator's wave of his hand, and the information he wanted to convey was not transmitted at all. Su Haoqian could not help but despair. Han Yuang was also desperate. They knew the existence of immortals, and naturally they also knew how powerful immortals were. Even the most powerful grandmasters in the martial arts world were like ants in front of these immortals, and could be crushed by the immortals with just 1 finger. The chivalrous woman Mingayu didn't know the legend of the immortals, but she was not as desperate as the other 2. She summoned up her courage and shouted to the evil cultivator, "Do you know who we are? This one is the young leader of Shangxing Gang, and this one is the young leader of Xianjian Villa. Shangxing Gang and Xianjian Villa are the most powerful forces in the martial arts world. If you hurt them, you will offend these 2 big forces. Shangxing Gang and Xianjian Villa will not let you go." With the power of their 2 families, You can't even think about gaining a foothold in the martial arts world. Oh, is it so great? The evil cultivator was in a good mood and was in a teasing mood. You are with two proud sons of heaven, so your family's power must be pretty good, right? Mingyu's expression froze. The evil cultivator had touched her sore spot. Her family's strength was originally very good, and it was considered a first-rate force in the martial arts world more than 20 years ago, but then something happened that caused her family's reputation to plummet, and its power was greatly reduced, not even as good as a third-rate force. When she was with Su Qingni and Han Yuang, she was often ridiculed for not being worthy of them. It was said that with her family's power, the Su and Han families would never marry a daughter-in-law like her. They said she was a toad wanting to eat swan meat. Every time she heard such sarcasm, she was so angry that her heart ached and she blamed her own parents. In the past, Mingyu still loved her parents very much, but after knowing the truth about her family's decline, Mingyu began to blame her parents. It turned out that her mother was a fickle woman. She seduced her sister-in-law's husband even though she was married, and her biological father was the husband of the seduced sister-in-law. Although her mother and father became concubines later, their reputations were rotten, causing the reputation of the Duanmu family to rot as well. It turned out that those who ridiculed her not only looked down on her because of her poor family background, but also because of her parents. What everyone meant was that with such a pair of shameless parents, how good could a daughter be? Maybe she was as shameless and fickle as her mother, otherwise how could she hook up with Su Qingni and Han Yuang and let them both revolve around her? Whenever Mingyu heard these words, she wanted to tear those people's mouths apart. She did so, but she did it secretly, and no one else knew. Now, she was stabbed in the heart by the evil brother, and the resentment and evil fire in her heart burst out, and she rushed towards the evil brother regardless of anything. "I'll tear your mouth apart." The evil brother flicked his sleeves disdainfully, and Mingyu was thrown out. Her body hit the mountain wall and slid down. A small part of her bones were broken, and many of her internal organs were broken. When she opened her mouth, blood and broken meat spurted out. Mingyu. The two young heroes rushed over and helped Mingyu up. They all carried the best healing medicine on them, and at this moment, they poured it out and stuffed it into Mingyu's mouth. Unfortunately, Mingyu was too seriously injured, and their medicine was only made by mortals, which could not play a big role in Mingyu's injuries. Su Qingni and Han Yuang looked at each other, stood up together, drew their swords, and made an attacking gesture towards the evil brother. The evil brother laughed. "However, you dared to attack me after knowing that I am an immortal. You have courage. In order to commend your courage, I will let your souls be the souls of the magic weapon, so that you can have a little bit of consciousness." Chapter 179, Immortal Path 27. Making a person's soul into an evil magic weapon and giving it a certain level of intelligence would make the soul even more miserable. The evil brother used this to punish Su Qingni and Han Yuang for their disrespect. Su Qingni and Han Yuang felt cold all over. After hearing what the evil brother said, they could imagine how miserable their fate would be if they fell into his hands. "Let's fight." The two of them gritted their teeth and rushed towards the evil brother. If they fought, there might be a glimmer of hope. If they didn't, they would be completely finished. A grain of light. The evil brother snorted disdainfully, and with a wave of his hand, a black rope flew towards the two. The two used their swords to chop, but the rope was like a living thing, so they couldn't chop it at all. Instead, it flexibly jumped to their side and tied them up tightly. The evil brother laughed. "Finally, all the souls have been gathered. I can refine the 9 yin and 9 yang heavenly demon banner." Just as he was feeling proud, 3 silver spots of light suddenly flew towards the evil brother. The face of the evil brother changed suddenly, and he quickly dodged the attack. The 3 light spots did not hurt the evil brother, but hit the mountain wall behind him, blasting 3 huge holes in the mountain wall. The face of the evil brother became even darker. He had seen clearly that the 3 light spots were 3 tiny silver needles. Such tiny silver needles have such great power, and the user is definitely not a master warrior in the mortal world, but can only be a cultivator. "Who? You actually attacked your grandfather?" the evil brother shouted. "My grandfather has already gone to see the king of hell. Do you want to see that old man too?" As she spoke, Senzialing revealed her figure. She stood in the air with a flying sword under her feet, her clothes fluttering, and her temperament was extraordinary. This is the appearance of an immortal imagined by mortals. "Fairy!" Su Qingni and Han Yuang shouted in surprise and shock. Such a graceful figure is an immortal. And this immortal looks so young and beautiful. Duanmu Mingayu's eyes were full of envy and jealousy. She felt sour in her heart that the woman in front of her might be an old woman in her tens or hundreds of years, but she still looked so young and beautiful. It was really enviable. Suddenly, an idea came to Duanmu Mingayu's mind. If she became an immortal, would she be able to stay young and beautiful forever? Duanmu Mingayu immediately put away her jealousy of the fairy, changed her eyes and expression, and replaced them with an expression of gratitude, admiration and worship, looking at the person in the air as if looking at a relative. All the changes in her expression fell into Sen Xiaoling's eyes. Sen Xiaoling sneered in her heart. She was worthy of being the daughter of one Qiulin. Her temper was the same as her mother. It's true that like mother, like daughter. After a brief distraction, Sen Xiaoling ignored Duanmu Mingayu. The evil junior brother was a powerful opponent, and Sen Xiaoling focused all her attention on him. The two began to fight. The evil brother's cultivation was not as good as his senior brother's, and his means of attacking people were very similar to his senior brother's. Sen Xiaoling killed his senior brother and knew his master's attack routine, so it was much easier to fight with the evil brother. This time, it didn't take 49 days. It only took 2 days for Sen Xiaoling to win and kill the evil brother. Fearing that the fight would hurt ordinary people, Sen Xiaoling kindly threw Duanmu Mingayu and Han Yuanyang's 8 secret guards into the cave where the evil brother lived. The cave had a protective band set by the evil brother to ensure that the supply would not hurt the people inside. Except for Duanmu Mingayu, who was seriously injured and not tied up. These people were tied up, but their hands and feet were tied, and their bodies could still move. These people squirmed to the entrance of the cave, saw the wonderful fight between immortals, and had a great yearning for cultivation. Su Haoqian and Han Yuanyang thought of the secrets handed down in the family and made a decision in their hearts. At this time, they only had cultivation in their hearts, and even forgot about the people they loved. Sen Xiaoling walked to the entrance of the cave and saw Roa Zhuangzi lying down. She was silent for a moment, waved her hand, and all the black ropes on their bodies disappeared. The 10 people quickly stood up and thanked Sen Xiaoling respectfully. Sen Xiaoling took out a pill and threw it to Su Haoqian. Give it to that woman. Duanmu Mingayu was seriously injured first, and then starved for 2 days. At this time, she was only half a breath away. After being reminded by Sen Xiaoling, Su Haoqian and Han Yuanyang remembered that the woman they liked was still injured. When they turned around, they were shocked. They hurried to Duanmu Mingayu's side, helped her up, and fed the pill given by Sen Xiaoling into Duanmu Mingayu's mouth. The pill turned into a hot stream and entered Duanmu Mingayu's body, repairing her internal injuries and bone injuries. Sen Xiaoling and Duanmu Mingayu's parents are enemies, but she will not drag her hatred for her parents to their children. Therefore, there is nothing wrong with giving Duanmu Mingayu the pill. The elixir took effect quickly. After a while, Duanmu Mingayu opened her eyes and her body was completely restored. Amazing. It's worthy of being an elixir. Su Haoqian exclaimed. Duanmu Mingayu was even more excited and quickly said to the 2 people, "Help me up, I want to thank the fairy in person." The 2 people quickly helped Duanmu Mingayu up from the ground, but they looked around and didn't see Sen Xiaoling. Duanmu Mingayu was shocked. Did the fairy leave? Duanmu Mingayu asked a dark guard standing by, "Where did the fairy go?" The dark guard replied, "The fairy went to the cave to save others." Duanmu Mingayu breathed a sigh of relief. It's good that she didn't leave. As long as the person is still there, she will definitely find a way to let the fairy teach her the immortal method. At this time, the other 2 dark guards handed the water bag and dry food to Han Yuanyang and the other 2. The 3 people felt thirsty and hungry, and quickly ate in big mouthfuls, waiting for Sen Xiaoling to come out of the cave. Sen Xiaoling entered the cave and released the men and women who were locked up by the evil junior brother. These men and women were not as tactless as Duanmu Mingayu to offend the evil junior brother, so they were not injured. There were dry food and clean water in the place where they were imprisoned, so except for being a little depressed, they were in good health. Sen Xiaoling brought these people to the entrance of the cave and handed them over to Han Yuanyang and Su Haoqian. "Since you are here to save people, you will take these people out of the valley and send them home." Sen Xiaoling took out 2 porcelain bottles and handed them to Han Yuanyang and Su Haoqian respectively. "This is your reward. Although I really want to say that there is no need to be rewarded for doing things for the fairy, but the elixir. If you don't want it, you are a fool." The 2 people reached out to take the porcelain bottle, carefully put it in their arms, patted their chests and promised Senzai that they would complete the tasks assigned to them by the fairy and properly arrange these men and women who were robbed. Fairy, I admire the way of immortality. Please accept me as your disciple. Chapter 180 Immortal Path 28. Fairy, I admire the immortal way. Please accept me as your disciple. Duanmu Mingayu knelt in front of Senzai. Senzai stared at Duanmu Mingayu coldly and said, I will not accept you as my disciple. Duanmu Mingayu hurriedly said, Fairy, I really yearn for the immortal way. If the fairy does not accept me as your disciple, I am willing to become your slave and follower. I only hope that the fairy will allow me to follow you. As long as you follow this fairy to the immortal world, you will be able to meet more immortals. Kick this petal at that time. Senzai laughed, You really look like your mother. Duanmu Mingayu was startled and asked, Do you know my mother? Did the fairy also hear about her parents' affairs, so she hated her parents and was unwilling to accept her? Duanmu Mingayu's face turned pale. Senzai did not answer this question, but asked, What year and month were you born? Duanmu Mingayu was at a loss, but still answered the question. Senzai laughed in her heart. Wang Qiulin was pregnant with Duanmu Mingayu before she left. This was clear evidence of Wang Qiulin and Duanmu Yi's affair. They gave birth to this child. Aren't they afraid of being ridiculed by the world? They have always been ridiculed. Senzai asked again, How is Senzai Feng from Green Willow Villa? Senzai Feng knew that Wang Qiulin was pregnant with Duanmu Yi's child. I'm afraid he would go crazy? As she expected, Senzai Feng was really crazy. He was greatly stimulated and his nerves were abnormal. Fortunately, there were still a few loyal servants in Green Willow Villa. Even if the owner of the villa went crazy, he did not let Green Willow Villa disappear, and did not let the Duanmu family and other forces annex Green Willow Villa. Although Green Willow Villa was in decline, at least it still existed. Tisk 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 tisk, this is retribution. However, Green Willow Villa is the ancestral property of the Sen family. Although there is no brother-sister relationship with Senzai Feng, they still have to help him, so that Green Willow Villa will not be broken and will really cease to exist. Senzai flew into the air and said to Duanmu Mingayu, who did not achieve her goal and had a look of astonishment and resentment below, You are not suitable for cultivating immortals. You have too many small thoughts. It is easy to go astray and it is difficult to cultivate results. After that, she left everyone in the valley and flew away. Duanmu Mingayu was full of resentment, and her expression was distorted, destroying her beautiful face. Su Haoqian and Han Yuang shuddered when they saw Duanmu Mingayu's expression. The woman they liked actually had such an ugly side. Thinking of what the fairy said before she left, Duanmu Mingayu was the same as her mother. The two had heard about Duanmu Mingayu's mother and father. They didn't care at the time, thinking that Duanmu Mingayu was untainted by the mud, unlike her parents. But now, the immortals say that they are the same. Senzai landed in Green Willow Villa. Green Willow Villa was dilapidated, and there were few people in the whole villa. There were only a dozen elderly people left, and the young people had left here. If she didn't come back like this, in a few years, Green Willow Villa would really become history in this world. Miss. The surprise call sounded. This was the old servants who saw someone falling from the sky and ran over to check the situation. It was an immortal who fell from the sky. There was an immortal descending on Green Willow Villa. Is it a change of luck? Can the immortal cure the owner of the villa? With joy and expectation, the old servants came to the garden, and what they saw was someone who was very familiar to them. Uncle Lin, Uncle Shan. Senzai greeted several old servants. The old servants were overjoyed. It's really the eldest lady. It's really the eldest lady. It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back. The owner of the villa became a lunatic, and the eldest lady was the only bloodline of the Sen family. In the future, Green Willow Villa can only be inherited by the eldest lady. Miss, you didn't see the immortal. After the joy, the old servants remembered why they came to this garden and hurriedly asked Senzai. Senzai pursed her lips, flew into the air in the old servant's puzzled eyes, and said, The immortal you saw should be me. The old servants, Greek letter sigma, miss, you have become an immortal. Senzai landed and nodded, saying, The girl who saved me back then is my current master. She is a cultivator, well, what you call an immortal. She brought me to the immortal world and taught me the method of cultivation. Now that I have made certain achievements in cultivation, my master has asked me to go out and explore. The reason I returned to the mortal world this time is because I killed an evil cultivator in the immortal world. I learned from him that his fellow apprentice came to the human world to abduct mortals and use their souls to refine treasures in order to refine evil magic weapons. When I killed the evil cultivator, I met the daughter of Wan Qiulin and Duan Muyi, and learned about Senzaya Feng from her. This time I came back to save Senzaya Feng. Although Senzaya Feng is unkind to me, I cannot be unjust to him. Moreover, Green Willow Villa was passed down from our ancestors, and it must not be cut off in my and Senzaya Feng's generation. The old servants. The eldest lady's words contain so much information. But, happy. Madam is happy. May the ancestors of the Sen family bless you. The eldest lady was betrayed by her husband and eldest brother and was seriously injured. Instead of dying, she became an immortal. This twist is even more amazing than the plot of the storybook. Miss, can the owner of the manor return to normal? Linbo asked. Senzaya Erling nodded. That's why I came back. It's just mental disorder. With her power of the soul, she can easily help Senzaya Feng straighten out his mind. If Senzaya Feng still misses Wan Qiulin when he wakes up, then just let him lose his memory and forget about that woman Wan Qiulin. She has many methods. There are also several more intense methods, which she actually wants to use on Senzaya Feng. But these old servants are definitely not willing to see it. Great. The old servants were very happy. Although the eldest lady can also inherit the Green Willow Villa, if the owner of the manor can return to normal, they still prefer the owner of the manor. After all, the owner of the manor is the head of the Sen family, and the eldest lady is still an immortal, so she doesn't want to stay in the mortal world for too long. Senzaya Erling asked, where is Senzaya Feng? Take me to see him. Linbo quickly replied, the owner of the manor is in his own yard. When the owner is not crazy, he always sits under the big tree in his yard and stares blankly, and he stares blankly for the whole day. Senzaya Erling knew where Senzaya Feng was and strode towards Senzaya Feng's yard. This was originally her home. She was very familiar with Green Willow Villa and soon arrived outside Senzaya Feng's yard. Looking at the fool in the yard, Senzaya Erling snorted coldly and thought to herself that he deserved it. Chapter 181 Immortal Path 29. Senzaya Feng felt like he had a big dream and now he's awake. In fact, over the years, he occasionally woke up, but he just couldn't control his emotions and body. He heard about Duan Muyi and Wan Qiulin from the people who took care of him, and heard about the current situation of Green Willow Villa. Senzaya Feng had regretted it in his heart a long time ago. No matter how deep the love was, it was worn out because of the memories of being betrayed by Wan Qiulin again and again over the years. Only regret and guilt towards his sister, parents and ancestors, and the old servants remained. His sister was injured and disappeared by him, and he didn't know if she was still alive. The old servants tried their best to save Green Willow Villa, but he, the owner of the villa, did not help Green Willow Villa and ruined its reputation. Senzaya Feng regretted it very much. But regret was useless. He became a madman and a useless person. He might as well die. Now, he is awake and awakened by his own sister. It turns out to be his own sister. At this time, he realized that blood ties are more important than the so-called love. Thank you, Xiaoling, and I'm sorry. This was the first sentence Senzaya Feng said after he woke up. Senzaya Erling looked into Senzaya Feng's eyes. She saw the guilt in his eyes and saw that he no longer had an obsession with the Wan Qiulin. Senzaya Erling breathed a sigh of relief. I accept your apology. Senzaya Erling said, in these years, Green Willow Villa has been supported by Linbo and Shenbo, but they are not young anymore. In the future, the burden of the villa must be shouldered by you, the owner of the villa. Yes, I understand. Senzaya Feng listened to his sister's teachings obediently. This was something he had never done before. Senzaya Erling said again, you are not young anymore, marry another wife. Don't worry about her family background, a girl from an ordinary family will do, give birth to a child as soon as possible, so that the villa can have the next generation of inheritance. Don't let the Sen family's incense be cut off. Yes. Senzaya Feng nodded obediently again. He no longer had any love for Wan Qiulin, and naturally he would not keep his body for such a woman. The issue of the Sen family's incense is now the top priority. Just like Senzaya Erling said, Green Willow Villa cannot be cut off in his generation. Senzaya Erling took out 3 porcelain bottles and threw them to Senzaya Feng. The bottle with the red string contains 9 yuan den. One can increase your strength by 5 years, There are 10 in it, you can eat it at your discretion. The bottle with the blue string contains quinine, which can detoxify all poisons. There are also 10. The bottle with the yellow string contains heiress, which can strengthen the body and increase lifespan. There are also 10. Senzai Feng held the 3 porcelain bottles as if he was holding a rare treasure. Where did you get these pills? My master gave them to me. Senzai smiled. I forgot to tell you that my master is the one who saved me from you. I also want to thank you. If you hadn't treated me like that, my master wouldn't have taken in a homeless me and brought me into the immortal world to practice immortality. I am now an immortal recorded in the ancestors' notes. Senzai Feng. Senzai Feng was in a very complicated mood. Senzai looked at Senzai Feng's expression and felt even more refreshed. She stood up and walked out of the room. Outside the door, Shanbo, Linbo and others were waiting anxiously. Seeing Senzai coming out, he hurried forward to ask about the situation. Don't worry, Senzai Feng has sobered up, and he has promised to run Green Willow Villa well in the future. You can relax in the future and don't have to work so hard. When the old servants heard what Senzai said, they all breathed a sigh of relief and laughed. Senzai took out a bottle of elixirs, poured out the elixirs, and gave each of the old servants one. These elixirs are my reward for everyone's efforts for Green Willow Villa over the years. Miss, this is an elixir? Shanbo asked with a rapid heartbeat, holding the elixir. Senzai smiled slightly. It's not an elixir, it's not very useful for immortals, but it's pretty good for ordinary people. These elixirs are for strengthening the body and increasing lifespan. After you eat them, everyone can at least increase their lifespan by 30 years. These old servants, whose hair and beards are already white, were so excited that they couldn't even speak. 30 years, being able to extend lifespan is what every older person desires the most. Unexpectedly, they were just some servants, but they could get such an opportunity. Thank you, Miss. Thank you, Miss. Shanbo, who was the first to come to his senses, immediately knelt down with a group of old servants to thank Senzai. Senzai waved her hand, and the old servants were lifted up out of thin air, and they respected Senzai even more in their hearts. Senzai smiled and said, although the burden of Green Willow Villa has been handed over to Senzai Feng, as the elders of the villa, you should help Senzai Feng occasionally. Yes. The old servants responded in unison. They had a deep affection for the villa, and they had never thought that after Senzai Feng took on the responsibility of the villa, they would completely let go. Senzai said, by the way, there is an important matter that needs to be dealt with by everyone. Linbo hurriedly said, Miss, please give me your instructions. Senzai said, Senzai Feng has been delayed for so many years. Now the most important thing is to get married quickly and give birth to the next generation of Green Willow Villa. I have no hope for Senzai Feng's vision. The task of finding a bride can only be entrusted to you. The old servants immediately patted their chests and promised to complete the task, find a virtuous and good wife for Senzai Feng, and find a good lady in charge for Green Willow Villa. Senzai was satisfied, released a flying sword and flew into the air, smiled at the people below, and flew away on the sword. Senzai Feng walked out of the room and saw Senzai back disappearing into the sky, feeling disappointed. He understood that he would never see this sister again. After finishing the family affairs, Senzai felt relaxed. After returning to the fairyland, she closed herself up. 10 years later, Senzai came out of the closed door to overcome the tribulation and became a scattered immortal. Then, she continued to venture out alone, and met Su Heoqian and Han Yuang on the way. It turned out that after meeting Senzai, the two men also determined to cultivate immortality. Their families all had records of the immortal world and immortals. The two exchanged information and learned how to go from the mortal world to the immortal world. After going through hardships, the two finally arrived at the immortal world. After going through the two of them, they had extraordinary qualifications and good character. Even though they were a little old, there were still sects willing to take them in. The two have since embarked on the road of cultivation. As for Duanmu Mingyu, she had long been forgotten by the two. Su Qingni sensed the gathering of calamity clouds in the sky, which was caused by the original body. After 100 years of seclusion, the original owner finally broke through the huge gap between earthly immortals and heavenly immortals. With the bodybuilding exercises left by Su Qingni, the thunder was just a tonic for the original owner, and the 49th heavenly calamity was easily passed by the original owner. The original owner found Senzialing, gave a lot of instructions to this only disciple, and then left this world and ascended to the upper world. Chapter 182, Realm Loosening. Su Qingni followed the original owner to the upper realm and escorted him for a while. Just after ascending to the heaven, some blind immortals wanted to bully the original owner, a newcomer. The celestial immortals and true immortals were all dealt with by the original owner, and those above the Su Qingni were dealt with by Su Qingni. The people in the upper realm remembered a piece of information from more than 100 years ago. Sun Tenjin was beaten by a person named Su Qingni in the lower realm. Su Qingni? Isn't she the one who punches the celestial immortals and kicks the Su Qingni and Jixin now? Oh my, this person has ascended. Hurry up and walk around this person. This person is famous and can't be provoked. So, no one dared to provoke the original owner. The safety of the original owner was guaranteed, and Su Qingni left this world with peace of mind. Su Qingni found 2 fragments of the true spirit of the ancestor witch in this world. One is relatively large, which is the fragment of the ancestor witch of Shibishi. The other is a fragment of the true spirit of Zhu Jiuyan, which is very, very small, and Su Qingni simply absorbed it herself. Zhu Jiuyan controls time, and Su Qingni absorbs the perception of time from the fragments of his true spirit, and has a stronger control over time and space. After Su Qingni had been in seclusion for a period of time, she found that the boundary between the quasi-saint and the saint in her body had loosened. It seemed that as long as she continued to practice and increase her strength, the boundary would be broken, and she would be able to be promoted to a saint. How is this possible? The position of saints in the prehistoric world is full, so no more saints can be born, right? Could this be her illusion? Su Qingni calmed down and felt it carefully. Her feeling was not wrong, and the boundary was indeed loosened. Su Qingni had a guess in her heart but could not be sure, so she went to ask Pingxin Niangniang, who is already a saint, for advice. After listening to Su Qingni's description, Empress Pingxin smiled happily. Your feeling is not wrong. If you keep working hard, it won't be long before you can break through the quasi-sage and become a saint. Su Qingni said, but can't saints appear in the prehistoric world? Empress Pingxin, now, you are no longer in the prehistoric world, but in the witch world. Although the witch world comes from the prehistoric world, it has escaped the control of the prehistoric heavenly way. In addition, every time you travel through time and space, your true body and most of your soul can only stay in the chaotic space outside the world to practice, and a lot of chaotic energy has accumulated in your body. Even if these chaotic energies are not as good as the Hongmeng purple energy, they are also very beneficial to your realm improvement. Don't forget that saints are just a specific name in the prehistoric world, but their cultivation realm corresponds to Hunan Daluo Jingxin. Yes, saints are just a specific name in the prehistoric world. After leaving the prehistoric world, as long as you have the opportunity to persist, you will naturally have the hope of being promoted to Hunan Daluo Jingxin. Su Qingni smiled happily. She thought her cultivation had stopped at the peak of quasi-saint. Unexpectedly, there was still a possibility of improvement. Empress Pingxin was also very happy. The Wu clan was going to have another super powerful person who could better protect the Wu clan's people. As the ancestor of the Wu clan, how could she not be happy? A fragment of Shibishi's true spirit was found, and the Wu clan was about to produce another super powerful person. The two happy events made Empress Pingxin very happy. She felt like joking and said, Qingni, your path now is somewhat similar to Luo Hao. You are walking the path of proving the Tao with strength, unlike other saints in the prehistoric world who all proved the Tao by beheading 3 corpses. As long as you achieve Hunan, your strength will definitely be stronger than them. Su Qingni asked, has Empress heard of Patriarch Yangmei? Empress Pingxin smiled, isn't Patriarch Yangmei a character created in the online prehistoric novels? Anyway, I didn't hear of this existence when I was in the prehistoric world. Su Qingni said, isn't it written in those novels? Patriarch Yangmei became a saint in the chaos and rarely entered the prehistoric world. Except for Patriarch Huangjin, who is also one of the 3,000 gods and demons, few people in the prehistoric world know of his existence. Maybe, there is also Patriarch Yangmei in the prehistoric world we live in, but we just don't know about it. Empress Pingxin nodded thoughtfully, maybe. Then, Empress Pingxin said with a smile, so you are like the ancestor Yangmei, proving the truth with force, unlike Luo Hao, right? Su Qingni smiled and nodded. Empress Pingxin, do you really dislike Luo Hao? Su Qingni, not really. I still admire Luo Hao in our world. Although he almost destroyed the prehistoric world, he is strong and domineering enough. It's just that I rewatched the old movie My Date with a Vampire a few days ago, and Luo Hao in it made me feel uncomfortable. Empress Pingxin searched in her vast and boundless memory and found this TV series. She couldn't help choking. It's really uncomfortable. In order to rule the world, a demon god actually used the blood of a woman to perform the so-called moon burial ceremony. The pattern is so small. And as a demon god, he coveted the body of a zombie. Empress Pingxin thought of the setting of Pangu in this drama, and she was choked even more. Pangu turned out to be a clan, and a zombie-like existence. If Brother Zhurong saw the setting of the father god on this TV series, with his hot temper, he would definitely rush to the earth and crush the screenwriter of this TV series with his own hands. Empress Pingxin said. Su Qingni said, among our people, those who have watched this TV series all have such thoughts. Even the people from the demon tribe are very unhappy with this setting of Pangu by the screenwriter of this TV series. If it weren't for them not being able to go to the earth, that screenwriter, he. Empress Pingxin asked Su Qingni, do you have the audio and video resources of this TV series? Su Qingni nodded, yes, I'll copy a copy for you. Empress Pingxin took the audio and video resources Su Qingni gave her and smiled like a blooming lily. When I have time, I will go back to the prehistoric world, go to the Fire Cloud Cave first, leave a copy of this TV series for Fuxi, and then go to the Heavenly Palace and leave a copy for the Queen Mother of the West in Yaochi. Su Qingni sweated. Empress, you are going to make trouble. Fuxi is easy to deal with. The Queen Mother of the West also has the Jade Emperor on her side. If the Jade Emperor sees the plot of the third part of Zombie Contract, wouldn't it cause conflicts between the couple? Su Qingni quickly took out a lot of audio-visual resources. Empress, these Gujian Qi Tanai, Xianjian Qi Xiaii, Legend of Heaven and Earth, all have Fuxi in them. These 7 fairies, Dongyong and the 7 fairies, the Cowherd and the Weaver Girl, Fairy Lake, and the Lotus Lantern all have the Queen Mother of the West. You can recommend them to those 2 to watch. Empress Pingxin took over these audio-visual resources with a smile and gave Su Qingni a thumbs up. Not bad. Su Qingni smiled. After saying goodbye to Empress Pingxin, Su Qingni left the netherworld in a good mood. She was ready to travel again. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 183 Prey 1. When Su Qingni opened her eyes, she found herself lying in the morgue. The original owner's soul had left, but a resentment and concern remained in her body. After reciting the mantra of rebirth to the original owner, Su Qingni received the original owner memory. This is a poor child. This girl was born as the second child. She has an older sister, a smart, beautiful, eloquent and likable sister. Her sister pleases her parents, grandparents and relatives at home, and teachers and classmates at school. Her sister has excellent academic performance and a wide range of interests. She can play the piano and paint. She is not only a top student but also a talented girl. The original owner has lived under the aura of her sister since she was a child. Except for a face that looks as good as her sister, she can't compare with her sister in other aspects. Therefore, she became an existence ignored by everyone, and her personality was also raised to be a little inferior. She always looked up to her sister. The original owner's sister was too outstanding, so even if she came from an ordinary family, she married into a wealthy family. The husband was young and handsome, and there was only one sister in his heart. The two lived sweetly for several years. Then, the problem came. My sister is infertile. My sister and her husband are very distressed about this matter. My brother-in-law will not separate from my sister because she is infertile, but his family needs an heir with his blood. My brother-in-law originally planned to go abroad to have a surrogate child, but my sister was unwilling. Such a child has no blood relationship with her and certainly does not look like her. It is possible that others will suspect that the child is not hers, which will lead to the exposure of her infertility. How could a face-loving person like my sister allow her shortcomings to be exposed and laughed at by others? My sister denied the idea of going abroad to find someone to be a surrogate mother, and she set her mind on her own sister. My sister carefully planned, got her husband and sister drunk, and sent the two to the same bed. After the incident, my brother-in-law acquiesced to my sister's plan. He really wanted a child, and my sister looked really good. Although my brother-in-law only had my sister in his heart, as a man, how could he not be unwilling to go to bed with another good-looking woman, not to mention that it was arranged by his beloved wife? The original owner was unwilling, but my sister brought out the sisterly affection and even brought out her parents to help persuade the original owner. Both her parents and her elder sister asked the original owner to help her sister. The original owner was sad, but she was weak and inferior. Facing her strong elder sister and parents, she could not raise the mind to resist. In the end, she accepted the arrangement of her sister with humiliation. A month later, her elder sister could not wait to check the original owner. The original owner's body was suitable for conception. After 1 or 2 times, she really got pregnant. After the checkup, the elder sister arranged a separate residence for the original owner, and did not allow her brother-in-law to approach the original owner again, fearing that her brother-in-law would like her, and did not allow the original owner's parents to visit her more often. The elder sister stopped the original owner from surfing the internet and using the mobile phone on the grounds that playing computer and mobile phone radiation was too strong and was not good for the child, and cut off the original owner's contact with the outside world. The original owner really thought that her sister was for the child, but she did not know that her sister spread the news that the original owner was seriously ill. It turned out that the original owner's elder sister could not tolerate the existence of the child's biological mother, and could not tolerate other women having a relationship with her husband. At the moment when the original owner had a relationship with her brother-in-law, the elder sister did not want the original owner to live. She had already made up her mind to kill the mother and keep the child. After calculating the time when the original owner was about to give birth, the elder sister came to the original owner's residence and sent away the people who took care of the original owner. The original owner died. Before she died, she heard her sister's sinister narration and knew her sister's calculations. The original owner died with a heart full of resentment. Before she died, she was most concerned about the child she had never seen. "Don't worry, I will take your child back," Su Qingni said in her heart, suppressing all the resentment and other emotions. This world made Su Qingni unable to use magic. After she left the morgue, she could only hide from surveillance and people. Fortunately, it was already past 9 o'clock in the evening, and there were few people in the hospital. She slipped into the nurse's locker room, stole a set of nurse uniforms and put them on, and then covered her mouth and nose with a mask, revealing only a pair of deep dark eyes. Su Qingni walked out openly and headed for the nursery. The original body's child was injured during the mother's delivery. Sister Su Qingni and brother-in-law Shen Haiping were worried that the child's body was also injured, so they kept the child in the hospital for observation for a few days. Su Qingni easily found the child with the nameplate. Picking up the sleeping child, Su Qingni left the hospital. The first stop was the room where Su Qingni placed the original body. The room was given to Su Qingni by Shen Haiping. It had only been a day since the incident, and Su Qingni had not asked anyone to clean the room. The clothes and personal belongings of the original owner were all in the room. Unlocking the door was easy. Su Qingni entered the room, changed into the original owner's own clothes, and searched for the original owner's bank card, ID card and other documents. Because she was afraid that the original owner would be suspicious, Su Qingni did not allow the original owner to use the mobile phone, but did not take the original owner's mobile phone away, but the mobile phone was now out of power. Taking out the charger to charge the mobile phone, Su Qingni took out the food in the refrigerator, made a delicious meal for herself, filled her stomach, and then fed the awakened child. Unfortunately, the original owner's body was dead before her consciousness possessed it, and could not provide breast milk for the child. She could only make a little maternal and infant milk powder stored in the room that Su Qingni used to bribe the original owner's heart, and fed the child. She cut a piece of sturdy clothing from her original body into a baby sling, and tied the child to her chest. After packing a few more clothes, Su Qingni left the room. It was already past midnight, but there was a 24-hour bank, so Su Qingni withdrew cash, bought a new mobile phone card, bought a plane ticket that took off at midnight, and left the city. It's not that she didn't want to avenge the original owner right away and expose the evil deeds done by Su Qingni and his wife. However, the Shen family is quite powerful in City A, and if she is not dead, this matter will be suppressed and treated as a private matter. She might even be falsely accused of seducing her brother-in-law, wanting to be the third party, and wanting to get to the top with the child. She would become the villain, and Su Qingni would become the innocent wife betrayed by her sister. Now this body is very weak and has no fighting power. If she is found by Su Qingni's people, not only will she not be able to save the child, but her life will also be lost. Therefore, she must leave City A. She needed to find a safe place to live, and then improve her strength. When she had the strength, she would take revenge on Su Qingni and the others. Su Qingni had a good plan, but she didn't know that plans couldn't keep up with changes. She left for 15 years. When she had the strength to come back for revenge, her enemies were gone. Chapter 184 Pray 2. Su Qingni came to a third-tier city and settled down temporarily. The original owner didn't have much savings, but it was enough for Su Qingni and the child to live for half a year. The child was a cute boy. Su Qingni named him Su Terran, hoping that he would be calm and at ease throughout his life and deal with things calmly. The child's name was Guagua. When Su Qingni gave him this nickname, she was drinking pumpkin porridge. Guagua was a very good child. He would not cry easily. Even if he peed or was hungry, he would only hum softly, which made Su Qingni worry-free. In addition to taking care of the child, Su Qingni began to practice martial arts. Fortunately, this world has no restrictions on internal strength, and the original owner's physical qualifications are not bad. In a year, Su Qingni has made some small achievements. In this year, Su Qingni used her superb hacking skills to secretly do some tricks to the Shen family's company. In the past year, many businesses of the Shen family's company have problems. However, the Shen family is a large family with a large business, and these problems cannot hurt them, let alone hurt Su Qingni. Su Qingni monitored Su Qingni through hacking technology and learned about the development after she left. When Su Qingni and Shen Haiping went to the hospital to visit the child, they found that the child was missing. They were furious and not only held the hospital accountable but also called the police. Unfortunately, they still couldn't find the child. The police searched the hospital's surveillance video to find clues about the person who took the child away, but no clues were found. The child seemed to have disappeared out of thin air. Of course, the police would not say so. They concluded that the person who took the child away was a very powerful person who was able to avoid all the surveillance cameras in the hospital and was very agile. They sent internal employees of the hospital to investigate the case, fearing that the Shen family had offended someone. The Shen family had offended so many people that they didn't know which family had attacked the Shen family's child. They only had one judgment, that the child who was taken away might not be found. Su Qingni was so sick. She had finally designed her sister to give birth to a child for her husband, but that child was gone. Where could she get another child? Her sister had been killed by herself. Was she really going to go abroad for surrogacy? Su Qingni was hesitating. She didn't want her husband to go abroad for surrogacy before because she still had a choice, and her sister was harmed by someone. But now her sister has been harmed to death by her, and the Shen family must have an heir. If Shen Haiping has not had his own child, the other members of the Shen family will definitely force Shen Haiping to divorce her. Su Qingni had no choice but to accept Shen Haiping's surrogacy abroad. Su Qingni had already started to prepare for the procedures for going abroad, but she received news from the hospital. Her sister's body was also missing. Her sister's body was missing? Exclamation mark. Thinking of the fact that the child her sister gave birth to was also missing, Su Qingni felt a chill behind her back. She didn't think of the incident as the enemy of the Shen family, but as ghosts and gods. Especially when she saw that her sister's clothes and ID cards were all gone in the house where her sister lived, Su Qingni was even more scared. It's a corpse. She was sure that her sister was really dead, otherwise the doctor would not send her to the morgue. In the current situation, she couldn't think of any other explanation except ghosts and gods. Her sister died with hatred, and after death, her resentment did not dissipate. She turned into a zombie and took away her child. Will she seek revenge on her later? Su Qingni was so scared that her heart almost broke. She frightened herself and became sick. She was sick for more than half a year, and the surrogacy abroad was delayed. After Su Qingni fell ill, the original parents stayed by Su Qingni's side to take care of the eldest daughter. They did not know that the death of the younger daughter was caused by the eldest daughter. They just lamented that the younger daughter was not blessed. She died and the child she gave birth to was missing. She could not enjoy happiness and could not help her sister, and the child she gave birth to could not enjoy happiness either. Su Qingni laughed in response to this biased remark. She was very curious. If these two people knew that the younger daughter was killed by the eldest daughter, What would they say? Perhaps they would find ways to help the eldest daughter to get away with it. In their minds, the eldest daughter is the pride, and they have deeper feelings for the eldest daughter than for the younger daughter. Otherwise, she would not have agreed to her eldest daughter's plan to let her youngest daughter give birth to a child. Mom, Mom. Guagua, the little bun, started calling for his mother after waking up. Su Qingni walked to the crib, picked up the little bun, fed him complimentary food, and watched his belly change from being flat to being round. Play, play. The little bun pointed outside the window and stretched his body toward that side. Su Qingni patted the little guy's butt. You kid, you want to run outside all day long. Although she scolded him like this, Su Qingni quickly packed some of the baby's belongings into a bag, slung the bag over her wrist, and walked out of the house holding Guagua. The weather was very good, the sun was not strong, and it was warm on people's bodies. Su Qingni took the little bun out of the community and headed for the park. As they were walking on the road, Su Qingni suddenly felt a tremor in her heart, and felt that something bad was happening. She was about to release her spiritual sense to investigate, but her eyes went dark and her body fell limply. Fortunately, she fell to the ground sideways, holding the child tightly with both hands, and did not drop the child to the ground. The little bun also closed his eyes and looked unconscious. Su Qingni's soul was unable to resist due to the influence of her body. She could only watch as her body holding the little bun was captured by a very small robot and put into a flying vehicle. This flying vehicle has the function of intelligent invisibility, and the radar of this planet cannot detect the existence of the flying vehicle. The flying vehicle flew out of the atmosphere of the blue planet with her body and the little bun into space. Outside the blue planet, a huge spaceship stopped on the back of the moon, causing the people in the space station to not notice the spaceship. The robot threw her body and the little bun into a cabin of the spaceship. In the cabin, in addition to her and the little bun, there were many unconscious people, men and women, old and young, and the number was as high as dozens. Su Qingni and the little bun were not the last two captured by the robots. After that, many more unconscious people were thrown into the cabin. Su Qingni counted and there were more than 100. It seemed that there were enough people, and the robots did not bring in any more people. Su Qingni felt a slight shake under her body, as if the spaceship had started. Was she abducted by aliens? By the way, this body of hers was unlucky enough. She had just escaped the persecution of her vicious sister, but before she could live a few days, she was abducted by aliens. Would she face being sliced and dissected for research in the next few days? Damn. With her current strength, could she defeat the aliens with advanced technology? Chapter 185 Prey 3. Su Qingni thought to herself that with her current body, even if she had improved her internal strength and skills, she should not be a match for the aliens. Looking at the internal structure of the spaceship, the aliens had high technology and high damage weapons in their hands. Before she had the confidence to avoid the attacks of those weapons, it was better to stay alive. Especially since she had a child to take care of. It was okay to get hurt, but it would be bad to get hurt to the child. Su Qingni huddled in a corner of the cabin with the child in her arms. There was nothing in the cabin except the kidnapped Blue Star people. Su Qingni wanted to do nothing. The child was sleeping soundly, just like other Blue Star people, with no signs of waking up. Su Qingni tied the child to her chest, adjusted it to a comfortable position, crossed her legs, and began to practice. I don't know what the aliens' purpose is. Before contacting them, I must improve my strength as much as possible. A day and a night passed, and the spaceship stopped flying. Su Qingni pretended to be asleep like everyone else, waiting for the aliens to act, looking for an opportunity to kill the aliens and occupy the spaceship. Do you ask Su Qingni if she can drive a spaceship? The answer is yes. The world where the Earth is located has developed rapidly in science and technology. It has long gone beyond the Earth and the solar system and built a base for human life outside the solar system. Every time Su Qingni travels back, she will go to the Earth for a tour. After all, that is her hometown. The tour is not in vain. Su Qingni will learn and master new technologies and new inventions on Earth. There are already private spaceships in the Earth world. Su Qingni bought one and learned to drive a spaceship. She doesn't know whether the technology of the aliens in this world is higher or lower than that of the Earth world, but no matter how high the technology is, the basic technology is roughly the same. She believes that with her learning ability, as long as this spaceship becomes hers, she will soon master the knowledge on the spaceship and learn to drive the spaceship. Unfortunately, The aliens did not give Su Qingni the opportunity to get close to them. The aliens did not even show up. It was still those robots that moved the people in the cabin out one by one and threw them separately in different areas of a planet. After the robots left Su Qingni opened her eyes and checked the surrounding environment. There are jungles, mountains and water. It seems to be a primitive planet without the existence of technology. However, Su Qingni didn't recognize half of these plants. What was the purpose of these aliens? Throwing them to a primitive planet, were they supposed to develop this planet? No, that shouldn't be the case. If they wanted to develop the planet, the aliens could do it themselves. They had robots like that, and they could dig the entire planet 3 feet deep. So, why was this? Before Su Qingni could figure it out, the little bun in her arms woke up, whining and saying hungry. Su Qingni patted the little bun's back and comforted him. Be patient, Mom will help you find food later. Su Qingni recognized half of the plants here, but they only looked the same, and who knew if they were the same inside? She had to check them in detail to determine which plants were edible and which were not. Moreover, children had weak spleens and stomachs and could not eat raw or cold food, so she had to light a fire, cook the edible things, and then feed them to the little bun. This would take a long time. The little bun woke up, and I think the other kidnapped people also woke up, because the alien spoke. The voice came from the sky. It was a language that Su Qingni didn't know, but she carefully wrote down what the alien said in this language. After that, the aliens changed to another language, and Su Qingni still remembered this language that she didn't know in her mind. After writing down 3 languages in a row, the aliens finally spoke a language that Su Qingni knew. It was English. Although Su Qingni thought that Chinese was the most beautiful language on Blue Star, who said that English was the most widely used and spoken by the most people on Blue Star? Earthlings, you are our captives and our prey. The place where you are now is the hunting ground opened up by our planet Pumaga. In a month, the hunters of our planet will enter the hunting ground for hunting. You have a month to adapt to the hunting ground and find a place to hide from the hunters. Come on, prey, try to survive the hunt. Su Qingni's face was extremely ugly. These aliens kidnapped them and treated them as prey for hunting. She remembered the animals that were driven into the hunting ground when the ancient emperors hunted. In the eyes of these aliens, the Blue Star people under technology are almost the same as animals. Damn aliens. Su Qingni wanted to rush to the aliens and kill them all. But unfortunately, the aliens were high in the sky, and with the strength of her body, she couldn't reach them at all. Humph. Wait until the netherworld connects to this world, and wait until she can come to this world in her true body. She must kill these aliens and throw them to the children of the witch tribe to hunt. Thinking of this in her heart, Su Qingni has already started to make a fire quickly, looking for a container that can hold water and boil water, and looking for edible food. The little bun is already starving. The most urgent thing is to feed the little bun first. They are not the first batch of prey. The aliens should catch a group of people as prey every once in a while. Blue Star is one of their sources of prey and has been targeted by them for a long time. Because Su Qingni found a steel helmet in the jungle. The steel helmet was a World War II style. Su Qingni washed the steel helmet with water, filled it with water, and hung it on the fire to cook. She also found a few foods that were judged to be edible, put them in the steel helmet, and cooked them into a pot of soup. She used a sharp stone as a tool and non-toxic branches as materials to make 2 wooden bowls and 2 wooden spoons. When the soup was cooked, Su Qingni filled a bowl and began to feed the little bun. The little bun was really well behaved. Although he was hungry, he did not cry or to make a fuss. He waited quietly for Su Qingni to prepare food and did not disturb her. However, the tears in the corners of his eyes and the aggrieved expression showed that the little bun was very uncomfortable with hunger. My dear baby, it's not that Mom wants to starve you, but I have no choice in the current situation. Su Qingni sighed. If she was alone, she had the confidence to avoid the hunting of aliens and live on this planet. But with a little bun, the difficulty of survival increased by more than 10 times. But don't worry, Mom will definitely protect you, and will definitely take you away from this planet and take you back to the blue planet. Su Qingni made a promise to the child who knew nothing. No matter how difficult it is, she will fulfill this promise. Humph, aliens, let's wait and see. Chapter 186 Pray 4. After feeding the little bun, Su Qingni drank up all the remaining soup, wove in a basket with branches, put the helmet, wooden bowls, spoons and other things into the basket, and began to explore with the basket on her back. She wanted to get familiar with this planet as soon as possible, so as to increase the survival guarantee for herself and the little bun when the hunt came. Su Qingni walked along the way and identified the plants that can be eaten and those that cannot be eaten. When she encountered aggressive plants, Su Qingni would stop to study them. These plants might be the key to winning the hunt. Some plants have the effect of traditional Chinese medicine. Su Qingni picked them and processed them into different pills. There are also some poisonous plants. Su Qingni also picked a lot of them and made them into pills. There are also animals on this planet. Some of them look the same as animals on Earth, and some have never been seen before. Many of these animals are aggressive. They are huge and treat people as food. If you are unlucky, you may lose your life before the hunt even starts. Su Qingni was naturally not afraid of these aggressive animals. She easily killed an animal that looked like a cheetah on the blue planet and occupied the cave where the animal was entrenched. The location of the cave was very good. It was located halfway up a mountain. It took a lot of effort for people to climb up, but for Su Qingni, who was good at Qinguang, it was easy to go up and down. She decided to live in the cave temporarily, but after discovering the cave and finding out that there was a lot of secrets inside, the temporary stay became a permanent stay. The animals became the meal for Su Qingni and Xiao Baozi. It was a big animal, enough for the mother and son to eat for a long time. Fortunately, the weather was relatively cold, otherwise without salt, the animal's meat would rot in a few days. After feeding Xiao Baozi a bowl of meat soup, Su Qingni began to clean up the cave. There were many bones in the cave, which were left by people and animals who were eaten by animals. Throw the bones out of the cave, clean the cave twice with water, wait until the water stains are dry, and then spread thick dead leaves on the ground, and then spread a layer of mat made of hay by Su Qingni, and then spread her coat. Su Qingni put the little bun on it, and the little bun rolled over, feeling soft and comfortable under his body, so he smiled at Su Qingni. Su Qingni touched his little head and walked to the end of the cave. She had discovered before that there was a triangular thorn stuck in the wall at the end. No matter how sharp the triangular thorn is, it is impossible to insert it into the rock wall, right? So, there is something strange about the wall here. Holding the handle of the triangular thorn, Su Qingni used half of her strength and pulled it out. The triangular thorn was easily pulled out. A small hole was left on the wall. Su Qingni leaned forward and looked into the small hole. It was not solid inside, and there was airflow passing through, which means that the other side of the wall was a space, not a solid mountain. Although it was very dark inside, Su Qingni had divine sense. Although it was limited by the rules of this world and divine sense could only leave the body 1 meter away, it was still enough to explore the other side of the mountain wall. According to divine sense, this mountain wall was not thick, at most half a foot thick, and there was a passage inside, leading to the inside of the mountain. Su Qingni was pleasantly surprised. If she could break through this mountain wall and hide inside the mountain, her chances of survival would be much greater. The three-edged thorn was very useful. It was still sharp after being inserted into the mountain wall for decades. Su Qingni input her internal force into the three-edged thorn and poked it towards the mountain wall again and again. In a blink of an eye, she poked several holes in the mountain wall. It was not enough, so Su Qingni continued to poke. After an hour, the mountain wall was poked into receive. Su Qingni stretched out her left palm, used her internal force, and chopped the mountain wall with one palm. Boom! A hole as high as a person was chopped out of the mountain wall, and a cool breeze blew out from it. There was no strange smell. It seemed that the ventilation inside was good. Su Qingni walked to the little bun, picked him up and tied him to her chest, holding a triangular thorn in her right hand, and a prepared torch in her left hand, lit it, and walked into the cave. The corridor on the other side of the cave was a bit long, and the mountain walls on both sides were very damp. The occasional sound of water drops was particularly loud in this quiet environment. After walking about 100 meters, the front became bright and even light came in. Su Qingni thought that the exit of the corridor was outside, maybe a valley or something, but she was wrong. Outside the corridor was still a cave, but it was thousands of times larger than the cave that Su Qingni had stayed in at first. This place cannot be called a cave, it should be an underground space. In the center of the space is a gurgling underground river, and on both sides grow plants that Su Qingni did not recognize. One of the plants has flowers that glow, illuminating the space very brightly, which led to Su Qingni's misunderstanding. The temperature here is higher than outside, at least 10 or 20 degrees, which makes people feel very comfortable. Su Qingni decided to live in this underground space in the future. As long as the entrance is sealed, it should be possible to avoid the search of aliens. After all, this underground space has existed for so long without anyone, neither the prey nor the hunting aliens have discovered the existence of the underground space. Su Qingni built a nest in the underground space again and put the little bun on the mat. It was late, and the little bun had fallen asleep as usual. Su Qingni crossed her legs and began to practice internal skills. Within a month, she must improve her strength. In the future, she will reduce her sleep time by half at night. The next day, Su Qingni continued to explore with the little bun, but now she had a camp, and no longer explored aimlessly, but explored in all directions with a cave as the center. It took half a month for Su Qingni to explore the surrounding 300 kilometers, and she remembered all the topography in her mind. Su Qingni knew all the animals and plants in this range. She found a lot of items left by previous prey, including some weapons, one of which should have been obtained from aliens, but the energy was exhausted and it could no longer be used. Su Qingni disassembled and studied it. Su Qingni quickly mastered the principle of the weapon and deduced its power. The power was good, about the same as that of the particle wooden warehouse. From a glimpse of the whole picture, through studying this weapon, Su Qingni deduced that the technology of the aliens, at least the technology in terms of weapons, was similar to that of the Earth. In the next half-month, Su Qingni did not go out to explore again, and stayed in the underground space to make various pills. Most of them are pills for treating internal and external injuries, and there are also DU pills. Considering that the aliens might wear mechas, Su Qingni made a lot of DU pills that could corrode the outer shell of the mecha. In a blink of an eye, a month has passed. The hunt is about to begin. Chapter 187 Prey 5. Su Qingni tied the little bun to her chest and told her not to make any sound. The little bun could already understand what she said, nodded her head and covered her mouth with her chubby little hands to show that she was obedient. She ate natural and pollution-free food for a month, and instead of losing weight, she gained a lot of weight. Su Qingni thought to herself that it was fortunate that she was not the original owner, otherwise she would not be able to hold the little guy, not to mention taking the little bun to avoid being hunted down. In fact, there was a lot of food prepared by Su Qingni piled up in the underground cave, enough for her and the little bun to eat for a long time. She could take the little bun to hide in the underground space, which was the safest place. But how long could she hide? Is there a time limit for the aliens to hunt? If there is no time limit, they will keep hunting. Then when they run out of food, won't they still face aliens when they come out to look for food? It's better not to hide from the beginning. Of course, Su Qingni would not be stupid enough to confront the aliens directly. She would hide in the dark, observe the weaknesses of the alien hunters, find out all of them, and then kill them with one blow. Therefore, during the day, Su Qingni hid in the underground space, and came out at night. The aliens should have equipment that allows them to see the scenery and people clearly at night, but the night still has a certain cover. Besides, the aliens also need to rest. Su Qingni came out of the cave and performed Qingguan to jump between the dense branches. The leaves blocked Su Qingni's sight, but she still had her spiritual sense. In this month of practice, she not only improved her internal strength, but also expanded the extension range of her spiritual sense, from 1 meter to 10 meters. It should be that after leaving the blue star, the rules of this world have less constraints on her. Su Qingni released her spiritual sense to help her explore the way. Not long after, a strange-looking guy appeared in her spiritual sense. It was a humanoid bug. It sat in front of the fire with its back against a mecha similar to its appearance. It held food in its hand and nibbled it with its lower mouth. This bug should be the alien who kidnapped them and regarded them as prey. What it held in its hand? Su Qingni's pupils shrank suddenly. It was an arm, a human arm. So, this bug is really an alien who kidnapped the people of Blue Star, the so-called hunter. They hunted people and ate them as food. Su Qingni clenched the triangular thorn in her hand, quickened her pace, and rushed towards the alien hunter who was facing her on the side. She swung the triangular thorn in her right hand, and with a move of flying fairy from the sky, she cut off the head of the alien hunter. Green blood came out, and the body of the alien hunter fell to the ground in two, motionless. Is it that simple? It's so easy to kill an alien? They are so weak? If they are so weak, how can they be hunters? How can they hunt people from other planets? Su Qingni stared at the body of the alien in confusion for a while, and raised her eyes to the alien's mecha. The aliens can do that. They should rely on their mecha and weapons, right? Suddenly, Su Qingni felt the danger. Every part of her body was reminding her to dodge quickly. Su Qingni obeyed the feeling of her body and jumped to the side. The next second after she jumped away, the place where she was standing was burned into a big pit by a laser. Su Qingni turned her head and saw a mecha driven by aliens raising its left arm. The muzzle on the arm lit up again, and a laser was emitted again. Su Qingni dodged again. The laser cannon shot again, and she dodged again. In a few breaths, the trees in this area were damaged by the laser, and the ground was even more bumpy, with holes of all sizes. While dodging, Su Qingni calculated the power of the laser cannon and made various analyses of the alien mecha. In addition to the laser cannon, the alien mecha was also equipped with laser swords, particle wood warehouses and other weapons. If Su Qingni was hit by any of these weapons, she would be fatally hit and lose her life. However, Su Qingni had Qingguang skills, and she always avoided these attacks dangerously, and even approached the alien mecha. She took out a corrosive pill and threw it at the mecha. It's implied not to return the favor. Su Qingni didn't have much confidence, so she let the pill corrode the shell of the mecha. Although this pill can corrode most metals, who knows what material the alien mecha shell is made of? She didn't know whether the pill could work on the alien mecha. The fact is that she underestimated the power of the pill she made and overestimated the defense of the alien mecha. The pill hit the mecha, immediately melted, and stained the alien mecha shell, and the mecha shell was corroded at a very fast and most fatal speed. However, the pill is not big, so the area that can be corroded is naturally not large, and the mecha has no fatal impact. So, Su Qingni shot out several pills in succession. These pills have targets: the eyes, chest, neck, head and joints of the mecha. These are the most critical parts of the mecha. The small pills worked wonders under Su Qingni's expectations. The important parts of the mecha were corroded and soon became limp and motionless. Su Qingni quickly stepped forward and inserted the triangular ruler with her infused internal force into the abdomen of the mecha. Based on her observation of the mecha, Su Qingni judged that the control room of the mecha was in the abdomen of the mecha. And her judgment was correct. When she pulled out the triangular thorn, it was stained with the green blood. Su Qingni shook off the blood with disgust, inserted the triangular thorn back to the side of her calf, stood up and patted the little boy with a pair of round eyes wide open. The little boy had fallen asleep, but was awakened by the intense movement when Su Qingni was fighting the mecha. However, the child did not make a sound to disturb Su Qingni, but excitedly watched his mother fighting the big monster with his big eyes bulging. His mother was so powerful that she actually defeated the monster. If his hands were not separated on both sides of his body and could not be closed, he would have wanted to applaud his mother. Looking at the little boy's eyes, there was no fear at all. Su Qingni couldn't help laughing and patted his little butt. Our guagua is very brave. Isn't it exciting? When you grow up, Mom will teach you skills so that you can also defeat monsters, okay? The little boy responded with which made Su Qingni smile even more. She lowered her head, kissed the little bun's forehead, and walked happily to the mecha that had not been damaged at all because its owner died early. Su Qingni dragged the mecha with one hand. Well, although it was quite heavy, after Su Qingni used her internal force, the mecha was easily dragged by her. Chapter 188 Prey 6. Su Qingni was happy to have a good harvest on the first day. After putting the mecha back into the underground space, Su Qingni went out to hunt aliens again. Aliens regarded them as prey, but now, in Su Qingni's eyes, aliens are her prey. Su Qingni did not encounter alien hunters again. It seems that the number of alien hunters is not particularly large. In addition, although this planet is only 1/4 the size of the blue star, its area is larger than the country with the largest homeland area on the blue star. The word vast land and sparse population is really not an adjective. Su Qingni has not encountered another blue star person after exploring the vicinity for so long, and alien hunters will not take root in this range. Unable to find anyone, Su Qingni returned to the underground space. Putting down the buns, Su Qingni began to disassemble the mecha and conduct research. As Su Qingni judged, the aliens' technology is slightly inferior to that of the Earth. Su Qingni, who has mastered the most advanced technology on Earth, cracked the manufacturing technology and related technologies of the mecha after some research. She successfully reassembled the mecha, and brought another mecha that she had destroyed back to the underground space, removed the usable parts from it, and kept them for backup. When she got more parts and materials, Su Qingni wanted to assemble a mecha by herself. The aliens' mechas were made according to their body shapes. The aliens were dwarfs, and the space in the mecha's main control room was very small. Su Qingni had to curl up all her hands and feet to squeeze into that space, and she also stuffed the main control room tightly, making it impossible to control the mecha. Therefore, even if she got the mecha, she couldn't use it. Su Qingni could only rely on her martial arts and EU drugs to fight the aliens. In order to avoid being hit by the aliens' attacks and causing great damage, Su Qingni disassembled the uncorroded back shell of the damaged mecha, split it into two halves, and tied one half to her back as a shield on her back. After tying the small bun to her chest, she tied the other half to the front to block the small bun. After doing all this, Su Qingni left the underground space again. Because she had successfully killed 2 aliens, it was no longer unknown. Su Qingni was less afraid of alien hunters and no longer thought or about hiding in the underground space. This time, she prepared some dry food and decided to go out of her exploration range and go to a farther place. While hunting alien hunters, she also saved some fellow Blue Star compatriots. On the first and second days, Su Qingni did not encounter aliens, but found fresh blood. Someone must have been killed. Their bodies. Su Qingni's eyes flashed with murderous intent. On the third day, Su Qingni found blood again, but the blood was green, which was the color of the blood of alien hunters. Did someone kill the alien hunter? Su Qingni followed the blood and found the body of the alien hunter. His mecha was gone, and it should have been taken away by the person who killed him. Not far from the body of the alien hunter was another human body. Su Qingni thought it was the body of a fellow Blue Star, so she walked forward and wanted to dig a pit to bury this fellow. If she didn't bury it, she would be discovered by aliens. This fellow would be dead. When she walked to the corpse, Su Qingni found that the man was not dead, but was seriously injured and unconscious. Su Qingni quickly took out a pill for treating internal injuries and stuffed it into the man's mouth, half lifted him up, put her palm against the man's back, and input a trace of internal force to help him quickly digest the medicine. After the internal force entered the man's body, Su Qingni found that the meridians of this man were very different from those of the Earthlings. In other words, this young man with a delicate and elegant appearance looks very much like a Blue Star, but he is not a Blue Star. He may be the prey caught by alien hunters from other planets. This discovery made Su Qingni excited. She had long guessed that the alien hunters not only caught Blue Stars, but also people from other planets. After all, when the alien hunters issued the announcement, they spoke several languages that she could not understand before speaking English. At that time, Su Qingni guessed that there were people from other planets besides Blue Stars on this planet. They are also aliens. In addition to practicing and refining medicine, Su Qingni studied those languages. Based on the content of the announcement and in comparison with English, Su Qingni figured out the meaning and grammatical structure of the languages she heard. Based on these sentences, she deduced that she had mastered several alien languages. Su Qingni carefully transferred her inner strength to help the injured young man refine the medicinal power while studying the meridians in the young man's body. After a while, she studied it thoroughly. She found that there was a gland on the back of the young man's neck, which could emit a hormone with a strong sweet fragrance. This sweet fragrance was useless to her, but she just thought it smelled good. Thinking that after successfully hunting down all the alien hunters and if the young man was still alive, she could extract some research from his body. The medicinal power began to work under the catalysis of the inner strength, but this medicine was only refined by mortal means after all, and was not as good as the spiritual medicine elixir that Su Qingni originally stored. The effect of this medicine only healed less than 1/10 of the young man's injuries, but it also saved the young man from life-threatening danger. Su Qingni could not abandon the injured young man, nor could she rush with such a burden, so she had to stop. The young man didn't expect that he could still open his eyes. He thought that he was so badly injured that he would definitely not be saved. There was no need for his compatriots to carry him as a burden. Although his identity was very honorable and he was a protected existence on his home planet. But here, on this planet full of dangers, his identity was not a guarantee at all. Instead, he was despised by his compatriots because of his weakness. They were kind enough not to abandon him at the beginning. "Are you awake? Have a bowl of broth." A woman's voice sounded beside his ear, but he couldn't understand what she said. "Who are you? Did you save me?" The young man struggled to get up and asked. What he said would not be understood by another Blue Star person, but the person next to him was Su Qingni. "Su Qingni, who had studied alien languages, naturally understood his questions. Su Qingni changed her language to the same language as the young man and replied, I am from Blue Star. When I passed by here, I found that you were not dead yet, so I saved you. Thank you. The young man hurriedly thanked him. He knew his own body well. Sure enough, his body felt much lighter and his injuries healed by at least 3 layers. The woman in front of him must be a very good doctor. Su Qingni smiled. Of course, her medical skills were very good. Even on such a primitive planet, she could refine all kinds of pills with super good effects. The reason why the young man woke up so quickly and his injuries healed by 3 layers was not the credit of her pills. Chapter 189 Prey 7. During the young man's coma, Su Qingni fed him medicine 3 times, and his injuries healed 3 layers. Otherwise, it would not be as easy for him to sit up as it is now. Thank you. The young man was really grateful to the woman in front of him. Even if he was regarded as a waste and a burden, he still hoped to live and did not want to die. By the way, you said Blue Star. The young man thought of the noun mentioned in Su Qingni's words and asked in surprise, aren't you from Takal Planet? No. Are you from Takal Planet? What kind of planet is your planet? Su Qingni asked curiously. She was really curious about other planets. Takal Planet. The young man's eyes were full of nostalgia for his hometown. The young man was called Albert. From him, Su Qingni knew that Takal Planet was more developed than the Blue Star on Earth, and already had the technology of interstellar navigation, but the maximum range was limited to the galaxy where their planet was located, and it was not possible to break through their own galaxy and enter the Milky Way to travel freely. There are flying cars with magnetic levitation, optical computers, and holographic online games on the planet Tacker. Although there are no mechas on the planet Tacker, there are powerful exoskeletons, and the combat capability of individual soldiers is very strong. The people on the planet Tacker are divided into 2 types, those with special abilities and ordinary people. Let's not talk about ordinary people. Those with special abilities are not people with special abilities as Su Qingni thought, but they are very strong, powerful, and fast. If they really have special abilities, then they have physical enhancement abilities. You look like an ordinary person. Su Qingni asked Albert. Albert lowered his head and said frustratedly, I am an ordinary person. Not only is he an ordinary person, but he is also very weak, has poor combat power, and can't run fast. He is regarded as a burden by his compatriots. Because of his family relationship, he is highly sought after on the planet Tacker and is held in the palm of his hand, but on this planet where his life is threatened, people will only regard him as a waste. He doesn't want to be a waste. He also wants to have the power to protect himself and the power to escape, instead of being caught like a broken sack and running away. But, who said he is an ordinary person and weak? Not only can he not help his companions, he can only hold them back. Su Qingni reached out and touched Albert's head. This young man looked younger than the original owner, probably only about 18 or 19 years old. If you want to become stronger, I can teach you. Su Qingni said. She pitied this young man who looked like he was still young, and wanted to help him. So what if his body is weak? So what if he is not fast? After practicing internal skills, these can be compensated. Albert was not comforted. My body is naturally weak. No matter how much I practice physical training, it will not work. Su Qingni was surprised. Do you have physical training on your planet? What about spiritual training? Albert replied, only physical training. What is spiritual training? They don't know. Oh. Su Qingni was a little disappointed. She thought that if there were physical training, there would be corresponding spiritual training. Su Qingni said to Albert, I have a method of cultivation. It is not a method of physical training, but a method of generating a kind of power in the body during cultivation. This power can help people improve their speed, physical agility, and strength. However, this method of cultivation is my own research, and you are my test subject. Are you willing? This is to be a guinea pig. However, Albert responded very affirmatively, I am willing, I am willing. He wants power. He wants the power to save his life. He doesn't want to die. Okay, I will teach you when your injury is healed. Su Qingni thought that during the few days when Albert was recuperating, she would create a set of internal skills suitable for his cultivation based on his meridians. Albert didn't know that Su Qingni had not yet created the skills, and nodded to Su Qingni gratefully. A pair of small hands rested on Albert's calves, and a childish voice sounded. Olibert looked in the direction of the voice and met a pair of big round eyes. The owner of the eyes was a white and fat little bun, round and chubby, looking very cute. Olibert has a natural affinity and love for children. When he saw the little bun, he couldn't help but reach out his hand to hug the little bun, but was stopped by Su Qingni. Your injury hasn't healed yet, don't hug him yet. Wait until your injury heals. Is he your child? What's his name? Olibert stared at the little bun with shining eyes, and the love in his eyes was obvious. Children are very sensitive to emotions. Guagua received Olibert's emotions and liked this good-looking brother very much. His name is Guagua, and he is my son. Su Qingni looked at Guagua's cute little appearance and smiled gently. Guagua? What a cute name. Unable to hug the little bun, Olibert simply used his hands to tease the little bun. Those alien hunters are so hateful that they don't even let go of a child like Guagua. After teasing the little bun for a while, Olibert raised his head and said to Su Qingni angrily, "Cubs should be protected. This is a universal principle in the entire galaxy. Even when they went fishing by the water, they knew to take the big fish home to eat and put the small fish back into the water. Those alien hunters were so cruel that they didn't even let go of the little children." Su Qingni snorted lightly. "I will kill those alien hunters so that they can't hurt my children." The momentum at that moment made Olibert's heart palpitate. The sister who looked as weak as himself in front of him was a strong person. Then if he practiced the skills taught by the sister, could he become as strong as her? Olibert's heartbeat quickened. With Su Qingni's pills, Olibert's injuries took 5 days to heal. Su Qingni also developed a set of internal skills suitable for Olibert to practice in these 5 days. Aliens like Olibert don't understand what meridians and yin and yang are. Su Qingni input her internal force into Olibert's body and let the internal force flow according to the root of the mind method. Olibert felt the flow of air in his body and remembered the root of the flow. Olibert had Su Qingni's hands-on teaching, and there was still a trace of internal force in his danshan that Su Qingni had left behind, so his practice went smoothly. In one night, Olibert cultivated his own internal force. The next day, Su Qingni took Olibert to continue his journey of exploring and hunting alien hunters. Based on Lingbo Weibo and the internal force that Olibert was currently practicing, Su Qingni created a set of Qingguang, which allowed Olibert to increase his internal force while walking without losing speed. In the first 2 days, because Olibert's speed was too slow, the two could not walk too far. After 2 days, Olibert mastered Qingguang and his speed also increased. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 190 Prey 8. The direction that Su Qingni and Olibert were heading in should not be the same as the direction that Olibert's companions left. After walking for a few days, the two did not see Olibert's companions, nor did they encounter alien hunters. One day, the two were walking, and suddenly, the ground shook, and a rumbling sound came from the distance. Someone was fighting. But, who could fight with such great power? Could it be that the alien hunters were killing each other? Su Qingni and Olibert looked at each other and sped up. While Su Qingni was hurrying on the road, she told the little bun in her arms, "What are you going to do later? Mom doesn't need to teach you any more, right?" The little bun had the outer shell of the mecha to shield himself from the wind, and he could speak. "I know, be good and don't talk." "So good." Su Qingni rewarded the little bun with a kiss. Olibert looked at him enviously, and he also wanted to kiss the little bun. The two approached the battlefield, slowed down, hid their bodies with a lush jungle branches and leaves, and quietly approached the center of the battle. Seeing the two mechas in battle, Olibert's eyes widened in astonishment. Is it really a dog-eat-dog fight between alien hunters? Su Qingni did not answer, but released her spiritual sense to carefully observe the two mechas in the fight. The two mechas have exactly the same configuration, and they are evenly matched in the fight. Now it is just a fight to kill time. Whoever runs out of energy first will lose. Su Qingni knows the structure of these mechas very well, and her spiritual sense penetrates into the gaps between the mechas and invades the inside of the mechas. She used her spiritual sense to see the people operating the mechas. One is a bug-like alien hunter, and the other is a dwarf, with the same hands, feet and facial features as humans, but much shorter. "Help me hold Guagua for a while." Su Qingni untied the little bun and stuffed it into Olibert's arms. Before Olibert and Guagua could react, Su Qingni had already stepped on the ground and turned into a residual shadow and rushed into the battle between the two mechas. The appearance of Su Qingni scared the owner of the mecha. The mecha controlled by the dwarf withdrew its attack, but the other mecha controlled by the bug not only did not stop attacking, but also launched a fatal attack on Su Qingni. Su Qingni dodged all the attacks like a butterfly flying through flowers, and came to the mecha of the bug, and pierced the main control room and the abdomen of the mecha with a three-edged spike. All the attacks stopped at once, and green blood flowed out of the main control room. The mecha was knocked down with a bang. Su Qingni stood still and looked at the mecha controlled by the dwarf. The dwarf in the mecha. The control room opened and the dwarf jumped out of it. The dwarf's facial features are very good, with deep features, and he looks like a handsome European guy. But he is also very short, not even as high as Su Qingni's thigh. A string of words came out of the dwarf's mouth. Olibert didn't understand, but Su Qingni did. This is one of the alien languages she has studied. Su Qingni answered in the dwarf's language, "You're welcome. We were both kidnapped by these villains, so we should help each other. My name is Su Qingni, and I'm from the blue planet. What about you?" "My name is Scarlo, and I'm from the dwarf planet." The dwarf answered. "Dwarf." Su Qingni remembered the description of dwarves in Western fantasy legends, and asked, "Are the people on your planet the best at manufacturing?" "How do you know?" Scarlo was surprised. Su Qingni smiled, "I've heard some legends about dwarves. Has our reputation spread to other planets?" Scarlo was surprised. Su Qingni nodded, "Yes, yes." She reached out to call Olibert and Xiaobaozi over, and introduced them to Olibert and Scarlo as an interpreter. Olibert was very surprised and admired that Scarlo could actually drive the alien hunter's mecha, so he asked. Scarlo said, "We dwarves are good at making things and even better at using tools. Mechas are also tools. I only studied them for 2 days before I became familiar with how to operate them. These 2 days, I used the mecha to pretend to be an alien hunter and killed an alien hunter by a surprise attack. Unfortunately, I don't understand the alien hunter's language, and the alien hunter found something wrong and started fighting with me. Thanks to Su Qingni for killing the alien hunter, otherwise I would have been killed by him." Olibert said, "You are so powerful and you fought him evenly, how could you be killed by him?" "Really? Scarlo has the same temper as the dwarves in Western fantasy novels. He is very straightforward and says whatever he wants. I consumed a lot of energy when I attacked another alien hunter before. Now the mecha's energy is not much. If I continue to consume it with him, I will be the one to die when the energy is exhausted." "Is that so?" Olibert suddenly realized, "But you are still very powerful. Not only can you learn to drive the insect's mechas, but you also want to use the trick of confusing vision and hearing to attack the insects. Awesome. Awesome." Olibert gave Scarlo a thumbs up. Scarlo was very happy to be praised and said with a smile, "You are such a nice person, and the nicknames you gave to the alien hunters are really vivid. I will call them bugs from now on." Olibert also laughed, very hearty. "It's a pity that you don't understand the language of bugs, otherwise you can kill a lot of bugs unexpectedly." Scarlo nodded vigorously, feeling very regretful. Su Qingni said, "I know the language of bugs, I can teach you." Scarlo was surprised, "How do you know the language of bugs?" Su Qingni said, "I not only know the language of bugs, but also your language. When the bugs announced the announcement in different languages, I wrote them all down, and studied and deduced them when I had time, so I learned the languages of several different planets." Scarlo and Olibert hugged each other and trembled. This is the natural reaction of a poor student facing a top student. Su Qingni smiled at them and said, "I will teach you 1 hour of language every day from now on. After all, you need to communicate with each other, and I can't always be your translator." Olibert asked weakly, "Can you only learn one language?" Su Qingni refused coldly, "Of course not. You have to learn as many languages as there are people from different planets on this planet. You must be able to communicate with people from other planets when you meet them without me by your side." Olibert and Scarlo both looked bitter. The little bun looked at their expressions and found them very interesting. He clapped his hands and laughed. Olibert pinched the little bun's chubby face and snorted, "You are so heartless. Don't gloat over other people's misfortunes. When you grow up, you will definitely learn languages." The little bun blinked his big eyes. He didn't understand what Olibert meant, and he didn't know that his future was indeed as Olibert said. There were many things to learn. Chapter 191 Pray 9. Su Qingni and Scarlo had a very happy chat. The two talked about mechas and the technology of alien hunters, especially how to improve the mechas of alien hunters and transform them into mechas that can be controlled by others besides alien hunters and dwarves. Su Qingni exchanged her research results with Scarlo, and the two of them eliminated the dross and kept the essence, and formulated two plans. One was to improve on the original basis of the insect mecha so that everyone could barely use it. The other was to dismantle the parts of the insect mecha and assemble a new mecha. The power of this mecha will be 1 to 2 times higher than that of the insect mecha, but it will consume a lot of materials. 5 insect mechas must be dismantled to assemble a new mecha. After determining the plan, Su Qingni, Scarlo and Alibert voted and decided to implement one plan first, and then assemble a new mecha when there are extra mechas. After all, it takes much less time to modify a mecha than to assemble a mecha from scratch. Now I'm helping Alibert get a mecha. Su Qingni said. Can I drive a mecha? Alibert asked in surprise and disbelief. Of course. Su Qingni said, you are smart. Let Scarlo teach you, and you will learn to drive a mecha. But. Alibert was very unconfident and said hesitantly, I am just too weak. So what if my body is weak? Su Qingni said, you have learned internal strength. After all these days, haven't you felt the changes in your body? Of course I feel it. As my internal strength increased, my body became stronger. The most prominent thing was my agility and speed. King Gong increased my running speed by at least 5 or 6 times, and I ran faster than the fastest ability user. I have become so strong, why am I still not confident? The expression on Alibert's face changed. He stared into Su Qingni's eyes and said, I want to drive a mecha. After that, he bowed to Su Qingni and Scarlo and said, please help me modify a mecha that suits me. No problem. Scarlo laughed, there is one now, I will help you modify it immediately. Scarlo walked to the mecha whose main control was pierced by Su Qingni's triangular spike. He did something, but he easily opened the door of the main control room, pulled out the insect corpses inside, threw them aside, and took out a toolbox from his own main control and started working. Su Qingni dragged her basket to her side, took out some parts from it and handed them to Scarlo. I think you will need these. Scarlo was overjoyed. Yes, I need them. But where did you get these things? Su Qingni replied, I killed 2 alien bugs before, and these parts were disassembled from their mechas. You are so awesome. Scarlo said admiringly, including this one, you have killed 3 alien bugs. Su Qingni, fortunately, I'm fast, and I can kill them as long as I get close to the bugs. Scarlo, your physical strength is really strong. Are all of you Blue Star people as strong as you? Su Qingni shook her head, I am an exception. Because I have practiced internal skills, and other Blue Star people don't. Internal skills. Scarlo said, I heard from you and Alibert, he also practiced internal skills. Did you teach him? Yes. Su Qingni said, Alibert's body is relatively weak. If he doesn't learn internal skills, he will only become a burden to me. But I can't abandon him and let him die. Scarlo, you are such a nice guy. I am glad to meet you. Can I be your companion? Su Qingni, of course. We are already companions. Alibert, who did not understand what the two were saying. Su Qingni turned around and smiled at Alibert. Scarlo is busy modifying the mecha, and we two have nothing to do for the time being, so let's start learning the language. I will teach you the language of the dwarfs first. Alibert swallowed his saliva. Okay. Su Qingni is quite good at teaching. At least after Scarlo modified the mecha, Alibert was able to have a simple conversation in the dwarf language. Su Qingni thought Alibert should be the kind of person with simple limbs and a developed mind. Is this the characteristic of ordinary people on their planet? Then do people with special abilities have developed limbs and simple minds? Alibert stroked his own mecha, and his expression was extremely complicated for a while. He never thought that he would have a day to drive a mecha. However, he also did not think that he would be abducted by aliens one day. Su Qingni was right. A large part of the reason why people are capable is that they are forced by the environment. In his hometown, he was protected, with no worries about food and clothing and no worries about life. Here, he was a burden, and his companions with abilities abandoned him. In order to survive, he could only be strong and capable. He was grateful to Su Qingni from the bottom of his heart, not because Su Qingni saved his life, of course he was grateful for this, but because Su Qingni taught him the ability to make himself stronger. It made him understand that he was no worse than others. Ordinary people also have the ability to protect themselves. He thought that if he was lucky enough to return to his hometown, he would definitely pass on the internal force cultivation method to other ordinary people, so that they could have the ability to control their own lives. Olibert studied very hard and mastered it quickly. It didn't take long for him to be able to operate the mecha to fight with Scarlo without losing. Then, the three people plus a child started moving forward again. Olibert and Scarlo operated the mecha to open the way in front, and Su Qingni walked behind them with the little bun in her arms. Olibert wanted to hold the little bun in the main control room of his mecha, thinking that it would be safer in the main control room of the mecha. However, he was rejected by Su Qingni. Su Qingni believed in her own strength more. She would not let the little bun out of her sight. Su Qingni gave Olibert a reason that he could not object to. You can set the mecha to move automatically, and you can sit in the main control room to practice internal strength. Your internal strength is still too weak, resulting in low physical strength, and unable to support long-term high-intensity combat. In order to avoid being unable to control the mecha in the middle of the battle when fighting with insects in the future, you should hurry up to improve your internal strength. This is a very critical issue. Olibert could only reluctantly hand the little bun back to Su Qingni, climbed into the main control room of the mecha, and began to practice internal strength diligently. Scarlo said to Su Qingni enviously, "You are so good to Olibert. He is my companion." Su Qingni paused and said, "You are also my companion. If you want to learn internal strength, I can teach you." "No need." Scarlo refused. "We dwarves have our own way of practicing." Chapter 192 Pray 10. The dwarves' cultivation method is related to their forging skills and is the most suitable for them. It is useless for people from other planets to learn it. The cultivation methods of other planets are not as effective as the cultivation methods of their own planet. The two people did not have time to practice the skills anymore, and began to discuss the issue of making mechasin-related weapons. They even began to discuss how to use the resources on this planet to make spaceships. No one wants to stay on this planet, and everyone wants to return to their own planet. It's just that because there are no spaceships, no one can escape from this planet. Scarlo sighed. With the resources of this planet, we may be able to build a spaceship, but we cannot guarantee how far it can fly. If it disintegrates in the universe, we will not have the chance to survive. Su Qingni said, "We just need to make a spaceship that can take off and reach the top of this planet." She looked up at the sky. There are ready-made spaceships in the sky. We can grab them and use them, or we can use them for research. Scarlo slapped his thigh. "Oh, yes, how could I forget that bugs also have spaceships?" After studying the bugs' spaceships, my technical ability will definitely improve a lot. Su Qingni said, "But there will definitely be a lot of bugs on that spaceship. If you want to occupy the spaceship, it will be a tough battle. You have to be mentally prepared." Scarlo chuckled and said, "I have killed 2 bugs, so why would I be afraid of other bugs?" In addition to forging items, our dwarf's second favorite thing is drinking and fighting. I am not afraid of fighting. Even if I die in battle, I will be very happy. Su Qingni. Is this considered a fighting nation? No wonder one person can kill 2 alien hunters. Su Qingni said, "The above is just my guess. Perhaps most of those alien bugs have come to this planet to hunt, and there are fewer bugs left on the spacecraft. Then it won't be a tough battle." Scarlo laughed and said, "Then we should kill more of those bugs on the ground." "Hey, I found bugs." Scarlo improved the detection equipment for the mecha, and the range of detection is much farther than the range that Su Qingni's spiritual sense can reach. When Su Qingni did not find the enemy's trace, Scarlo had already found it. Scarlo quickly woke up Olibert, who was practicing, and the 3 of them set up an ambush on the alien hunter's path. 2 mechas of the same power plus Su Qingni, who is more powerful than the mecha. The 3 of them killed the alien bugs very quickly and seized a complete mecha. Su Qingni watched Scarlo pack up the mecha, and suddenly, she keenly felt 2 eyes cast on them. Su Qingni immediately released her spiritual sense, but saw nothing. "Qingni, what's wrong with you?" Olibert saw Su Qingni's actions and asked. The child took advantage of the break to play with the little kid and strengthened the relationship with him. "I feel like someone is watching us." Su Qingni frowned and called out to Scarlo, "Scarlo, use your mecha detection equipment to detect in that direction and see if there's anything." Scarlo did it immediately, but his detection equipment could not detect anything. "Impossible." Su Qingni frowned. "I can feel a strong sense of being watched. How can there be no one?" Olibert said in surprise. Could it be that the alien bugs have activated more advanced surveillance equipment to monitor us? Su Qingni shook her head. It shouldn't be. I don't feel any malice. If it's not alien bugs, could it be people from other planets? Scarlo said, I don't know which planet's ability this is. Olibert nodded in agreement. People on each planet have special abilities, like Qingni's internal skills and Scarlo's mechanical manufacturing ability. Although I am not strong, the ability users on our planet are very strong, and they also carry exoskeletons with them. Their combat effectiveness is only slightly lower than that of bugs wearing mechas. Now this one, maybe the ability is invisibility or remote surveillance. Su Qingni thought what Olibert said was right, and she also had such a guess. Shall we go over and take a look? Scarlo suggested. Yes. Su Qingni and Olibert both agreed. The three of them took the little bun and walked towards the source of the site. Not long after walking, Scarlo stopped and said, the enemy is coming towards us. In this case, let's just wait where we are. Not long after, two people with eyes twice as big as ordinary people appeared in front of them. The two people were about the same age as Olibert, a boy and a girl, and looked very similar. They should be twins, and very beautiful twins. With their big eyes, they looked like three-dimensional cartoon characters. Hello, we are Yingluo and Yingyu from Xianbi Star. We have seen your battle, it's amazing. The girl named Yingluo spoke, showing kindness to the four people. Thank you for the compliment. I am Olibert, from Takal Star. Olibert was very good to the two people. This kid is obsessed with looks. My name is Scarlo, and I'm from Pumaga. Su Qingni smiled at the two of them. My name is Su Qingni, and this is my son Guagua, and we're from Blue Star. Oh my god, such a young child. The boy named Yingyu shouted, those bugs are so cruel that they don't even let such a young child go. Scarlo snorted, they are already bugs, they have no humanity, so they will naturally kidnap young cubs. Yingluo walked to Su Qingni's side, and seeing that Su Qingni did not show any sign of guarding against her approaching, she stretched out her hand to tease the little kid, raised her head and smiled at Su Qingni. He is so cute. You protect him very well. Su Qingni smiled. Yingluo said, well, can the two of us join you? When she said this, she and Yingyu both had trepidation on their faces, afraid that Su Qingni would refuse. In order to increase their own weight, Yingluo said, we are very useful. Although our combat power is not strong, our eyes are very useful. We can see this scenery 1,000 meters away and can help you detect the aliens. The two siblings relied on these eyes to see the alien hunters before they found them and hid, thus avoiding the alien hunters hunting. However, they knew that escaping alone was not a solution. If the alien hunters turned on the infrared scanning equipment, no matter how well they hid, they would probably be found and killed. Just when they were worried, their eyes saw a scene that shocked and excited them. Chapter 193 Prey 11. Someone actually killed the alien hunter. At this moment, the identities of hunter and prey have completely reversed. For the first time, Yingyu and Yingluo found that the alien hunters were not so powerful and scary. There were still people who could kill them. Yingyu and Yingluo had the idea of joining these people. They had to hold on to their thighs. Maybe they could survive to the end of this hunt. Facing the expectant eyes of Yingyu and Yingluo, Su Qingni nodded. She remembered a very old cartoon she had seen on Earth. The protagonist in it had the eyes of an eagle, the ears of a wolf, the speed of a leopard, and the strength of a bear. The boy and girl in front of them had the eyes of a real eagle. No wonder their last name is Eagle. How can such talents be rejected? Olibert and Scarlo warmly welcomed the joining of the two siblings, Yingluo and Yingyu. They felt that the eyes of the two siblings were too useful. In order to express his welcome, Scarlo modified the mecha he had just received and gave it to the two siblings. Unfortunately, a mecha can only hold one person. After the two siblings gave in to each other, the elder sister overpowered the younger brother and gave the mecha to him. If you feel you owe it, quickly kill a bug and snatch his mecha for me. Okay, sister. I will definitely work hard, sister. Just wait for me to help you snatch the mecha, sister. After the boy said this, he jumped into the control room of the mecha with excitement, and Olibert taught him how to drive the mecha. Olibert has learned all the alien languages that Su Qingni knows these days, so he can understand and speak the language of Xianbixing, and has no problem communicating with the Ying family siblings. Scarlo is a little worse. His IQ points are all in technology and manufacturing, and he is relatively lacking in language. Yingluo sat next to Su Qingni, watching his brother learn to control the mecha with envy in his eyes. Su Qingni said, "Don't be envious. It's a pity that you will have your own mecha." The girl nodded vigorously, smiling brightly. "I think my brother and I are now in good times. We are going to be lucky to meet you." Su Qingni chuckled, "Can you tell fortunes?" Yingluo, "Although you can't tell fortunes, my sixth sense is super strong." "Well, it should be said that the sixth sense of people on our planet is very strong. Maybe it has something to do with our eyes." Su Qingni stared at Yingluo's eyes and nodded. "It should be. Yingayu's physical fitness is much better than Alibert. After learning how to operate the mecha, it didn't take long for him to be able to control the mecha to move flexibly. He used the mechanical hand to lift his sister up, put her on the shoulder of the mecha to stabilize her, and said to everyone, "Report to the commander. I am ready and can set off." "Then let's go." Su Qingni smiled. This time, the people who explored the way in front became the Ying family siblings. Their eyes were so useful that they could see the alien hunter from a long distance. Then several people set a trap and killed the alien hunter. Then Scarlo modified the mecha, and Yingluo also had a mecha of his own. Then, Su Qingni also had a mecha. During this period, they rescued several people, including Starlo's compatriots and Olibert's compatriots. Olibert's compatriot was an ordinary person like him, but he had good physical fitness and was not a waste. But in the eyes of the ability users, he was also a burden, and he was eventually abandoned. After being rescued by Olibert, this compatriot named Wells saw Olibert jump out of the mecha control room, and his chin was so shocked that he couldn't close it for a long time. Are you Olibert? Is this someone from another planet who looks like Olibert? Wells, we have been separated for less than a month, and you can't recognize me. Olibert asked doubtfully, not expecting that the reason why people questioned his identity was because he didn't behave like a weak person at all. Are you really Olibert? Wells bulged his eyes and felt that this world was unreal. Of course I am Olibert. Olibert puffed up his face and was a little unhappy. His compatriots could not recognize him. Aren't you weak? Wells swallowed and asked. I am weak. He was the only one who was weak among all the people kidnapped from Taker. Because he was weak, his family kept a close watch on him, and the alien hunters could not have kidnapped Olibert silently. The reason why Olibert was kidnapped was that he slipped out of the strict protection of bodyguards and wanted to play alone, so he was kidnapped by the alien hunters. Did they know it on the first day he woke up on this planet? Then you can still drive a mecha? Wells asked in disbelief. Hearing this question, Olibert was proud. He snorted proudly and said, "How can a weak body not drive a mecha? As long as he works hard, he can drive a mecha or a spaceship. Wait, when I return to Taker, I will teach ordinary people how to make weak bodies stronger, so that they can also become stronger and drive mechas." Wells. Olibert must have had some adventures during the time they were apart. I envy him so much. Wells's physical strength is better than Olibert's, just reaching the level of being able to drive a mecha. Scarlo and his companion Saniel modified a mecha for Wells. Wells was taught by Olibert and studied the operation of the mecha very seriously. Even Olibert is so powerful, how can he, a person with a good physical condition, fall behind? With two dwarf technicians, the speed of modifying the mecha is much faster. Su Qingni decided to put the matter of making a spaceship on the agenda. The spaceship in the sky must be destroyed. Although the bugs inside have not discovered their actions now, it is only because they do not take the many prey seriously. If more alien hunters on the ground are destroyed, it is possible that they will attract the attention of the people on the spaceship. Whether it is using the powerful weapons on the spaceship to bloodbath the planet or driving the spaceship to escape, it is not what Su Qingni and others want to see. We have to find a safe place where we will not be discovered and disturbed by alien bugs, so that we can make the spaceship wholeheartedly. Saniel said. I know a place that is absolutely safe. Su Qingni introduced the situation of the underground space to Saniel and Scarlo, and the two people's eyes lit up. It's a great place. We can use it as our base. Scarlo said. Su Qingni nodded. Suddenly, she had an idea. There are many mountains on this planet. The geological features are similar. Could it be that there is more than one underground space? Could other people have discovered the existence of the underground space and hidden it? Chapter 194 Praises I. Su Qingni led the group back, but although they were going back, they changed the road and deviated from the way they came, in order to kill more alien bugs or save more people along the way. Don't talk about the Virgin Mary or anything like that. At this time, one more person on our side can cause more damage to the enemy. But it was strange that they didn't encounter any prey along the way. Is it true that there were no prey, or were all the prey killed by the alien hunters? It was not until Yingluo and Yingaiyu found a small valley that Su Qingni knew where everyone was hiding. There were many mechanisms set up outside this valley, most of which could not cause damage to the alien hunters' mechas, but had a certain effect of hindering the action of the mechas and slowing down their speed. Scarlo and Saniel gave a good evaluation of these traps. The group did not think of destroying the traps. They and the people in the valley were friendly countries and had a common enemy. They came with the purpose of unity and did not want to anger the people in the valley. The group stood outside the trap circle and let Yingaiyu and Yingluo describe the situation in the valley to them. The people in the valley looked and dressed very similar to Su Qingni. Almost every one of them was injured, but there should be people among them who knew medicine and treated their injuries. The effect was not very good. After all, the creatures on this planet are not found in their hometowns. Others do not have Su Qingni's ability to easily distinguish between animals and plants. Even if they have good medical skills, they cannot fully utilize their medical skills and easily heal the wounded without medicinal materials. There is a damaged mecha in the valley. The people in the valley must have fought with the alien hunters. They killed the alien hunters with their numbers, and the people in the valley were also injured. After listening to the descriptions of Yingaiyu and Yingluo, Su Qingni had already concluded in his heart, the people in the valley should be from Blue Star. The Blue Star people don't have the hawk-like eyes of the Cheyenne B Star people. They don't have the research ability of the dwarves on machinery and technology. They don't have the strong physique of the Tacker Star ability users, and they don't have the light skills that Su Qingni has practiced with external plugins. The Blue Star people are very ordinary, with poor physical strength, poor speed, and low technology. If a single Blue Star person encounters an alien hunter, he will definitely be killed in seconds. However, the Blue Star people also have advantages. They know how to stick together and cooperate. They are tough in their bones, which is not obvious at ordinary times, but before a disaster, this quality will be brought into play. Faced with danger and difficulties, they will rise to the challenge. Su Qingni used her inner strength to spread her voice far away, into the valley. People in the valley, we are here to visit you, please allow us to enter the valley. She spoke in Blue Star English. When the people in the valley heard this familiar language, they put down their worries and were happy. I met another compatriot. A person soon came out of the valley and led Su Qingni and his group into the valley. The man was shocked when he saw several mechas. He mistook Su Qingni for a Han woman leading the Japanese. He turned and tried to run, but was caught by Su Qingni. Don't worry, they are not alien bugs, but my companions. We killed the alien bugs, seized their mechas, and transformed them into mechas that we can also drive. Really? The young man asked in disbelief. Su Qingni shouted, Olibert. Olibert opened the door of the mecha control room and jumped out. The people on the planet take a look most similar to the people on the blue planet. When the young man saw Olibert, he mistook him for a blue planet and breathed a sigh of relief. It's good that it's not a bug. After saying that, he stared at Olibert and the mecha behind him in shock, and asked in horror, You actually know how to drive a mecha? Olibert had already learned the Blue Star language, and he replied, I didn't understand it before, but I understand it after learning it. The young man hurriedly asked, Brother, who did you learn to drive a mecha from? Can you teach me? Olibert, Scarlo taught me. If you want to learn, I can teach you, but your body is too weak and you may not be able to control the mecha. Where am I weak? I look much stronger than you. The young man shouted unhappily. Olibert's appearance is delicate, like a girl. When he stood there, he looked like a slender beautiful boy. Naturally, the young man was not convinced. Olibert didn't say anything, and directly used his internal force to break a branch as thick as a bowl. Young man. The young man was deeply shocked, and still asked unwillingly, I really can't drive a mecha. Olibert comforted the young man, you can exercise, and when your body is strong, you can drive a mecha. The young man stared at Olibert with burning eyes, can you teach me how to exercise? My cultivation method is not suitable for you. Olibert took a step back and looked at Su Qingni. Seeing Su Qingni nodded slightly, he said, you can ask Qingni for help and let Qingni teach you a suitable method. Qingni is from the blue planet like you. You are not a blue planet. The young man felt something was wrong after hearing what Olibert said. Olibert, I am from Takal. What? You are also an alien. The young man stepped back in fear. Albert hurriedly comforted him. Don't be afraid, although you and I are not from the same planet, I am definitely not the alien hunter you are talking about. On the contrary, I was also captured by alien hunters. They not only capture people on Blue Star and Tacker Star, but also on other planets, and let us be prey. We have a common enemy, we are allies. Yes. Yingluo also jumped down from the mecha. Her big eyes made the young man blink. Could this beautiful girl be from the second dimension planet? The young man saw Scarlo and Saniel again, and knew that they were dwarves from a planet called Pumaga, and there were several people from other planets. Their appearance was similar to that of the Blue Star people, and they were not at all similar to the alien bugs. No wonder they were on the same side and were enemies with the alien bugs. The young man took several deep breaths and accepted the fact that so many people from different planets existed. Well, since everyone is an ally, please come in. The young man named Gao Zhonghu led the group into the valley. There were more than a dozen Blue Star people in the valley. When they saw Su Qingni and her group coming in, they all gathered around. When they saw the mecha and the appearance of their alien compatriots, they all picked up their weapons and alert. Gao Zhonghu quickly explained to everyone loudly, and everyone was relieved, with only curiosity left on their faces. Chapter 195 Pray 13. Su Qingni came out to negotiate with the people in this valley. From their words, Su Qingni knew that these people were lucky. When they were thrown to this planet by alien bugs, for some reason, they were not far from each other, so they gathered together. Just as Su Qingni thought, the people of Blue Star did not have the same strong physique and advanced scientific and technological knowledge as people from other planets, but they were united, they were good at using their brains, and they were good at adapting to local conditions. When danger came, they exerted their greatest potential. However, the gap between them and the alien bugs was too big. There was only one alien bug, and they had more than 30 people. They killed this bug when most people paid their lives and the other half were all injured. You are so powerful. You can kill so many bugs and rob their mechas. Guan Yi, the leader of the valley, looked at the mecha behind Su Qingni with envy. Su Qingni said, "Do you want to have your own mecha?" "Really?" Guan Yi asked expectantly. Su Qingni nodded. Guan Yi was happy but a little uncertain, but Gao Zhonghu said that we can't drive a mecha with our physical fitness. Su Qingni said, "He can't drive it, but you can. You have reached the minimum standard for driving a mecha." "Really?" Guan Yi was surprised. Su Qingni nodded and said, "You were a special forces soldier before you were kidnapped to this planet." "Guan Yi, you can see all this." Su Qingni said, "From some of the arrangements outside the valley and your physical strength." "Guan Yi, are you also a special forces soldier?" Su Qingni, "No, I'm just an ordinary person." Guan Yi chuckled. "Ordinary people? Ordinary people can lead a group of aliens to kill alien bugs? Become the leader that those aliens believe in? You have to know that these aliens come from different planets, how can they have a completely unified opinions?" But they all believe in Su Qingni, which shows that this woman is not ordinary. Moreover, she has a child who is only a little over 1 year old. A single woman with a small child can survive on a primitive planet, survive the hunting of alien hunters, and raise the child well, which is enough to show how extraordinary this woman is. Su Qingni also knew how unbelievable this statement was. She smiled and said, "Well, I'm not ordinary. Let me be honest. The reason why I am so powerful is that I know ancient martial arts and I practice internal force. Internal force can enhance a person's physique. If you all learn internal force, you can also control mechas." "Really?" Guan Yu was dumbfounded. "Isn't internal force a fiction in novels? Can it really exist?" "Well, since the aliens have come out, the existence of internal force is not a big deal, right? Don't believe it? Do you want me to demonstrate it to you?" Guan Yu nodded vigorously. Su Qingni picked up a stone slightly smaller than a fist from the ground, squeezed it with one hand, and the stone was crushed into powder. "Guan Yi, Greek letter sigma." Guan Yi stared at Su Qingni with shining eyes and asked, "Can I learn inner strength?" Su Qingni, "Of course. Not only you, all the people on Blue Star have to learn it. The people on Blue Star are not as good as people on other planets in many aspects. If they want to kill alien bugs and drive mechas, they must learn inner strength." Thank you so much." Guan Yu kept saying thank you. Su Qingni's move increased the chances of survival for the people on Blue Star. "You're welcome, I'm also at Blue Star." Su Qingni took out the medicine she made and gave it to the doctor in the valley, asking him to heal his companions. The doctor's name is Zhang Jidan, and he is only a student in the medical school. However, he has a family background. He has learned Chinese medicine from his grandfather since he was a child, and studied Western medicine in college. He combined Chinese and Western medicine, and his medical skills are pretty good. The seriously injured and dying people relied on acupuncture with the wooden sticks he cut to save their lives, but he was helpless because he didn't know the plants on this planet and lacked medicinal materials. Now, Zhang Jidan witnessed how effective the pills made by Su Qingni were, and hurried to Su Qingni, wanting to learn how to make pills from her. Okay. Su Qingni agreed immediately. She originally wanted to teach someone who could make pills to help her share the work. After all, injuries in battle are inevitable, and the consumption of pills is large. This time, Su Qingni's stock has been almost consumed by rescuing the people in the valley. You stay with me, I will teach everyone internal skills first, and then teach you to recognize plants to make pills. Su Qingni said. Internal skills. Zhang Jidan was so shocked that he stuttered. Yes, you are studying Chinese medicine, and you must be very familiar with the meridians of the human body. I think you must be faster than others in practicing internal skills. Zhang Jidan didn't have that much confidence in himself, but he was very excited in his heart. Mecha. Internal skills. Both are things that young people dream of having, and I didn't expect that one day I would be able to have both. Am I really not dreaming? Zhang Jidan pinched his thigh meat hard. It hurt. It was not a dream. It was much easier for Su Qingni to teach the people in the valley the internal skills. She didn't have to research a method suitable for him according to his body meridians like she did when teaching Albert. Su Qingni searched in her mind and found an internal skill that was quick and powerful in the early stage but difficult to advance in the later stage. She taught it to the people in the valley. The teaching method was the same as teaching Albert, planting internal force in their dantian and asking them to remember the root of the internal force. When the injuries of the people in the valley were almost healed, Zhang Jidan had already refined a batch of pills under Su Qingni's guidance. The effect was a little worse than that of Su Qingni's, but it was also very good. The people in the valley were completely integrated into Su Qingni's team, and they all willingly recognized Su Qingni as their leader. The valley was not safe, and Su Qingni led everyone back to the underground space. On the way, they encountered a small group of alien bugs. There were a total of 7 bugs in this team. Although Su Qingni made proper tactical arrangements, casualties were inevitable. In this battle, 2 people on their side died. After burying the 2 opponents in the ground, many people were in low spirits. Especially the Blue Star people, because the 2 dead were Blue Star people. Su Qingni glanced at them and did not say anything to comfort them. They will experience a lot of this in the future. Su Qingni ordered Sloka and Sanil to modify the mechas left by the bugs into mechas that the Blue Star people can use. 3 of the 7 mechas were damaged in the battle, leaving 4. The 2 dwarves were responsible for 2 each. The 2 were already familiar with modifying the mechas, and it didn't take long for the mechas to be modified. Chapter 196 Pray 14. Guan Yi, Elens, Kumbu, Firenaya. These 4 mechas belong to you. Su Qingni's words suddenly lifted the depressed mood of the Blue Star people. Everyone else looked at the 4 people with envy and jealousy as they walked towards the 4 newly modified mechas. Su Qingni added, your physical fitness is not up to standard, and you can't control the mechas. Work hard to cultivate your internal strength. When your internal strength is more advanced, you will be able to control the mechas. Everyone nodded repeatedly. Although they were envious, they also knew that their physical fitness was indeed not good enough to meet the standard of operating mechas. Unlike Guan Yi and the other 4. Guan Yi is a Special Forces soldier, Elens is from the Navy Special Forces, Kumbu is a Muay Thai master, and Firenaya is a mercenary. The physical fitness of the 4 people has reached a minimum standard for controlling mechas even without practicing internal strength. Come on, in order to drive the mechas as soon as possible. The Blue Star people, including Gao's Honghua, clenched their fists. Su Qingni led everyone to the cave at the entrance of the underground space. Looking at the small cave, everyone still didn't understand that they had reached their destination. They thought they had to rest here for a night before setting off. Su Qingni removed the cover on the mountain wall, and everyone saw a long corridor. Let's go, the base below is our future base. Su Qingni said and led the way into the corridor. Everyone hurried to follow. The dark long corridor did not make everyone feel scared, but made them feel at ease. With such a long corridor, the underground space must be very hidden. The alien bugs can't explore there with high-tech exploration instruments, right? Many people breathed a sigh of relief. Not everyone wants to fight the bugs head-on. If there is a safe place to hide, they would rather hide there and not go out to face the alien bugs. However, Su Qingni will not allow them to put these ideas into action. Everyone has to fight, and Su Qingni will never keep people who can only escape in her team. She will not drive people out of the underground space, but she will no longer provide them with food. If those people are hungry and want to eat, they can go out of the underground space to find it themselves. If they are lucky, they will not encounter alien bugs. If they are unlucky and encounter alien bugs, will they watch themselves being killed or fight the bugs? Since the bugs on the spaceship found that too many of their own people died in this area, they became cautious and transferred all the nearby bugs to this area to find abnormalities in this area. Thanks to the underground space being buried too deep and too hidden, the bugs' methods did not scan the underground space. Everyone is safe in the underground space, but if they leave the space, even Su Qingni can't escape back without any damage. We have to speed up the manufacturing speed. Su Qingni said to Saniel and Sloka. Saniel said, I think we don't need to build a spaceship, just build a flying car that can fly to the height of the enemy's spaceship. This saves both materials and time. Su Qingni thought about it and agreed with this opinion. So, the three of them started to make the flying car. They worked day and night and forgot to eat. It took them 3 months to finally complete the manufacturing of all the parts of the flying car. At night, everyone moved the parts outside the cave. Su Qingni and two dwarves quickly began to assemble the vehicle, while Guan Yi, Olibert and others helped by handing them parts and tools. Finally, before the bugs discovered their actions, the flying car was assembled. Although it was called a flying car, it looked more like an airship. First of all, this operation may be a one-way trip. If you don't have the belief that you must die, don't go. Su Qingni stood by the door of the flying car and said to all her teammates. She still had the little bun tied in her arms. The little bun was almost 2 years old, and the living environment made him more sensible. His mother was talking, and he lay quietly on his mother's chest and listened, not making a sound to disturb her. But his two eyeballs rolled around, and I don't know what he was thinking. After the voice fell, the scene was quiet. After a long while, Su Qingni spoke again. I say 3 times, and those who don't want to go step back 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. After the 3 sounds, no one stepped back. Olibert said, Qingni, is Guagua going too? Su Qingni said, of course, wherever I go, Guagua will go too. Even if we die, we, mother and son, will die together. Olibert, Guagua is going, how can I not go? Guan Yu nodded in agreement, yes, if I don't go, wouldn't I be worse than a young child? The others nodded as well. Su Qingni's lips curled slightly, then get in. After saying that, she was the first to get into the flying car. The others rushed forward and rushed into the flying car. When everyone got in, Scarlo closed the door and controlled the flying car to start flying. We are flying so blatantly into the sky, aren't we afraid of being discovered by alien bugs? Gau's Honghu said. It has been discovered. Yinggai replied, there's a bug at 10 o'clock that saw our flying car take off. Kunbu lowered his head and looked in the 10 o'clock direction, but saw nothing. He doesn't have a pair of eagle eyes. So what if they see us? Our speed is so fast that we are out of the range of their weapons. They can't do anything to us. Well said. Olibert said with a little worry, but he can contact the bugs on the spaceship. If the bugs on the spaceship notice us, we can't easily approach the spaceship. Then let's rush to the spaceship directly. Ellens raised his hand and touched his Micha. Don't worry, it's hard for those bugs to find us. Scarlo turned back and said to everyone, Qingni found a kind of tree sap, which can make the flying car invisible when applied to the outside of the flying car. Make sure they won't find the flying car before we get close to the bug's spaceship. The technical master is really amazing. Everyone gave a thumbs up to Scarlo, Saniel and Su Qingni. Sure enough. Although the bugs received the information sent by the bugs on the ground, they could not find any trace of the flying car no matter how they explored. It was not until the flying car was directly above the spaceship and the people on the flying car jumped onto the spaceship that the bugs saw the flying car with their naked eyes. Enemy attack! Enemy attack! The bugs shouted, activate defense and counterattack. Unfortunately, their counterattack was too late. Su Qingni added her inner strength to the three-edged thorns, directly scratching a big hole on the top of the alien bug's spaceship. Her companions jumped into the spaceship through this hole. What followed was a fierce battle. Su Qingni had expected that there were not many bugs stationed on the spaceship, and they launched the attack too suddenly, so the bugs were destroyed before they had time to put on their mechas. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 197 Prey 15. This sneak attack was very successful. The goddess of luck was on Su Qingni's side, which made their simple and crude plans successful without losing their teammates. Even if they were injured, they had been treated by Zhang Jiding and were not in danger of life. The rest of the people relaxed and collapsed on the floor to rest, but Su Qingni, Scarlosnal and the other two had no time to rest. They hurried to familiarize themselves with the technology on this spaceship and master it. 3 cobblers are better than Zhuge Liang. Su Qingni, Scarlosnal and the other two had originally inferred their technology through the alien bug's mechas and mastered part of their technology. At this moment, the 3 of them discussed and confirmed with each other, which enabled them to master the technology on this spaceship more quickly and control the spaceship. We can start to fight back. Su Qingni smiled at the others. Next, everyone was divided into 2 groups. A group of people with low combat effectiveness stayed on the spaceship to help Scarlo and Sanal as the central army support. Su Qingni led a few people with high combat effectiveness to form a vanguard and returned to the surface to hunt the alien bugs on the ground. Su Qingni kissed the little boy's tender face and told him, "Listen to Uncle and wait for Mom to come back." The little boy nodded seriously. "Come on, Mom, come back soon." After that, he waved his right fist above his head. "Oh my son is so cute." Su Qingni pinched her son's fleshy little fist, pulled it to her lips and kissed it again, and handed the little boy to Wells, asking him to help take care of the little boy. As for Olibert, he is also a member of the vanguard. He has worked very hard to cultivate his internal strength, and now his strength is not inferior to Guan Yi, Ellen's and others. "Let's go." Su Qingni put on her mecha. This mecha, she modified it herself, and its strength is definitely stronger than others, and took the vanguard team out of the spaceship. The next step is hunting. In this hunt, everyone is the prey, and everyone is also the hunter. The reason why Su Qingni and Scarlosnal did not dismantle the bugs' mechas to assemble new mechas with greater power was that they wanted to rely on the appearance of the bugs' mechas to get close to the bugs, attack the alien bugs unexpectedly, and kill the bugs. Before that, Su Qingni taught everyone the language of alien bugs, so that they would not end up in the situation that Scarlo encountered at the beginning. Because of the language barrier, they were recognized by the alien bugs and could not sneak attack, so they could only bear it. This strategy was very successful. The people in the vanguard killed a lot of bugs and saved many of the original prey. These prey were sent to the underground space where they lived before, so that these prey could hide. Some of the people rescued by Olibert were compatriots from the same planet as him. They were all capable people, and ordinary people were all abandoned by them. I think except Wells, all other ordinary people died. Many people with special abilities died. After all, even if they were physically strong and had strong combat power, and had exoskeletons, they could barely deal with the mechas of insects. However, the weapon power and protection of the exoskeletons were far inferior to those of mechas. In the end, there were only 4 people alive. When they saw Olibert, they were all stunned. Their reaction was even more exaggerated than when Wells saw Olibert operating the mecha. They had been in a trance since they were rescued by Olibert and began to doubt their lives. Su Qingni also rescued some Blue Star people. These people, like Guan Yi and Ellen's, were top talents on Earth. They cooperated with each other to survive until now. Later, Su Qingni and others discovered another underground space, where many people hid. However, these people did not live very well. They did not dare to go out to face the alien insects, nor did they dare to go out to find food. They could only dig the plants growing in the space to eat. Although those plants were not poisonous, they tasted no less, and the number was not large. When Su Qingni and others found them, these people all looked pale. They were so hungry that they could only lie still and try to reduce the consumption caused by exercise. After leaving some food for these people, Su Qingni and others continued to hunt. Although they killed a lot of alien bugs, there were still many alive. When they left the spaceship, they learned from the information on the spaceship that there were thousands of alien bugs on the ground, and they had only eliminated half of them. It took Su Qingni and others a month to eliminate all the alien bugs, gather all the survivors, and land the spaceship in front of these people. Su Qingni took these people on the spaceship. The total number of people abducted to this planet by alien bugs exceeded 100,000, but only hundreds of them survived now. But being able to survive, no matter how they survived, can show that they are not ordinary, especially in terms of character. Without an indomitable character and a tenacious character, these people would have collapsed long ago and would not live to save Su Qingni. Just like some of them, they died before hunting, some died of psychological collapse, some were used to a good life and were not suitable for life on the primitive planet. In any case, these people who survived are talents. At least, they did not show fear and terror in front of the corpses of the bugs, but expressions of relief. Su Qingni decided to train these people well. When they also have strong strength, Su Qingni will take these people to the base of the alien bugs, kill all those hateful bugs, and avenge herself and her compatriots who died in the hands of the bugs before. There are many data in the spacecraft, which were deciphered by Scarlo and Saniel during the time when Su Qingni hunted alien bugs. Seeing those data, everyone has a better understanding of bugs. These bugs are called slow people, and the planet they originally lived on is called Slow Planet, but this planet was destroyed by themselves. Slow people are a group of villains. They like blood and they regard human life as a part of their original recipe. A long time ago, they secretly captured people from other planets to Slow Planet, killed them and made them their meals. The people of those planets are not from planets such as Blue Star, Tacker Star, Pumiga Star and Cheyenne Star, which are not as civilized as Slow Planet. The planetary civilization of these people is the same as that of Slow Planet, and they are all members of the Interstellar Alliance. The disappearance of so many people attracted the attention of these planets and also the attention of the Interstellar Alliance. The Interstellar Alliance conducted an investigation and finally found the Slow people. The bad habits of the Slow people and their diet made them the public enemy of the Interstellar Alliance, and the Interstellar Alliance imposed sanctions on Sloya. Chapter 198 Prey 16. The Interstellar Alliance originally only sanctioned Sloya, but did not expel it from the Interstellar Alliance. After all, not all planets in the Interstellar Alliance are humanoid, and there are many planets with citizens of other appearances. However, the Slow people did not restrain themselves because of the sanctions. They acted honestly on the surface, but they still kidnapped people in secret. Moreover, they also extended their hands to those non-humanoid citizens of the Alliance. In the end, the Slow people became the public enemy of the Alliance, and the Interstellar Alliance launched a crusade against Sloya. Sloya broke apart in this crusade, and most of the Slow people were buried with their own planet. Only no more than 100,000 people escaped. In order to avoid the pursuit of the Interstellar Alliance, they rushed into a not very stable wormhole and came to the remote Milky Way. The level of civilization here in the Milky Way is lower than that of the Interstellar Alliance, and the Slow people can completely dominate here. So, they started a series of activities such as kidnapping and hunting to meet the diet. This primitive planet is just one of the hunting grounds of the Slow people, and they have several hunting grounds. That is to say, many people were killed by the Slow people. Su Qingni asked the dwarves to modify the mecha under the leadership of Scarlo and Saniel, asked Olibert to teach everyone the languages of different planets, asked Zhang Jin to teach some people with medical talents to make medicine, asked Guanyu and Gao's Honghu to teach the Earthlings the inner strength, asked Elens and Fahrenheit to teach everyone to operate the mecha, asked Yingluo and Yinggayu to take the people of Cheyenne Star to learn reconnaissance skills, and asked. Everyone was very busy and seized the time to enrich themselves. Su Qingni was the busiest. In addition to coordinating all matters, she also had to enlighten the little bun, protect the little bun to practice the inner strength, and let the little bun win at the starting line. Half a year passed in a flash, and everyone's strength increased by at least twice, and they were able to operate the mecha. Su Qingni also decided to leave this primitive planet. Using the optical brain to project the interstellar map, Su Qingni clicked on a point in the map and said to everyone, "This is our goal this time." The planet represented by this point is another hunting ground of the Slow people, which is closest to this primitive planet. Everyone unanimously decided to go to the hunting ground first, eliminate the Slow people there, and then see if there are any surviving prey on the planet. I can't bear it anymore, and I'm eager to kill the bugs. This is Mingaya, a blue star person, and a woman. She was lucky to survive by hiding in the underground space. After being rescued, she worked hard to learn skills. She longed to have strength, and she didn't want to hide like before because she had no strength, waiting to starve to death. I don't know how many people are still alive in this hunting ground. Well sighed. Everyone's voices paused, and there was silence in the spaceship. There were 100,000 people in the hunting ground where they were, but only a few hundred of them survived, and this was the result of a powerful existence like Su Qingni leading them to resist the hunting of slow people. How many of them can survive in other hunting grounds without Su Qingni? It's good if one survives. Su Qingni said, at least we have preserved a spark and a hope. After a pause, Su Qingni said, when we kill all the slow people, no more compatriots will be harmed. Everyone didn't think Su Qingni was bragging. When they were only a few dozen people, they killed thousands of slow people. Now that their number has increased more than 10 times, they can naturally kill tens of thousands of slow people. You know, the number of slow people is not large, only about 100,000. If they fight a few more battles, they will definitely be able to wipe out all the slow people. In an instant, the atmosphere in the spaceship was no longer depressed. It took half a month for the spaceship to arrive outside the planet where the second hunting ground was located, and saw the slow spaceship parked above the planet. The first spaceship also noticed their arrival, but regarded them as companions, did not attack them, and did not guard against them, but only sent a communication request. Scarlo did not accept the communication request, but increased the power of the spaceship, approached the opponent's spaceship at the fastest speed, and then launched an attack. The Sloyans on the spaceship were caught off guard. Before they could defend themselves, Su Qingni had already entered the spaceship with 100 people wearing mechas, and killed the Sloyans in the spaceship as quickly as possible and occupied the spaceship. After that, the troops were divided into two groups. SYNOPSIS led some people to receive the new spaceship, and Su Qingni led the rest of the people to land on the planet and began to hunt the Sloyans. This time, the number of hunters increased. It only took 10 days to hunt the Sloyans on the entire planet. The prey on the planet were all found out. They were much more miserable than the first person who hunted the planet. No one was intact, and even the lightest injured person lost an arm. This is a blue star named Rutherford. He gives people the impression of being strong and handsome. Even with a beard, he can't hide his handsomeness. Su Qingni and all the blue star people know him because he is a star, a very famous action star. He is very good at fighting in the movie, and everyone thought it was just a show, but he didn't expect that he has real kung fu. It can be seen from the fact that he was able to control the mecha before practicing internal skills. There are only more than 10 prey left on this planet, and Rutherford is the only one left on the blue star. If Su Qingni and the others had come later, these people would have been wiped out. Bring the people on board the spaceship. SYNOPSIS has repaired the newly captured spaceship. From now on, he is the captain of this spaceship, so he should be as active as possible. Su Qingni divided the people into two groups, and the other group was led by Guan Yi. They set out again and headed for the third hunting planet. The third hunting planet has just started the hunting game, and there are more people who survived, more than 10,000. But because these people have not experienced too deep despair, it is difficult to manage. Su Qingni directly suppressed them forcefully. Whoever disobeyed would fend for himself on the hunting planet in the future. No one dared to complain anymore, they were very honest. But Su Qingni didn't like them, and threw them all on the third spaceship, without giving them modified mechas, nor teaching them skills. These people who didn't speak the same language were crowded together, and they dared not make trouble even more. Su Qingni observed those people and found some who were good and useful. She brought them to the first spaceship and began to train them. There were not many people, only about 100. Su Qingni did not plan to let the others join her team. Chapter 199 Prey 17. When they arrived at the fourth hunting planet, not only was the Sloya starship not here, there were no alien hunters on the planet, and naturally there were no survivors. They were late. Everyone was in a low mood. However, the journey had to continue. When they arrived at the fifth hunting planet, they did not see the Sloya starship. Everyone's heart sank. Did they arrive late again? When the spaceship landed on the surface of the planet, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. They were not late, but early. The people here are still alive. The people of Sloya planet had just put them on this planet for only a few days, and it was not yet the hunting day. Su Qingni drove all the people on the third spaceship out of the spaceship, let them live with the people of this planet temporarily, and took his men, should it be men, to set up traps outside the planet, waiting for the slow people to fall into the trap. This time, they did not take the people on the planet away after they eliminated the slow people. After all, there were too many people, and the spaceship could not accommodate so many people. Su Qingni decided to wait until all the slow people were eliminated before coming here to pick up people and send them back to their respective planets. On the 6th hunting star, 30 people were rescued. After the baptism of blood, they were all qualified to join the combat unit and learn combat skills. The 7th hunting star. The 8th hunting star. The group swept all the hunting stars of the slow people and killed at least tens of thousands of slow people. Their team increased to 600 people. The hunting stars after that were not as lucky as the 5th hunting star. Half of the hunting stars had no survivors, and the number of survivors on other hunting stars was only 20 to 30. There was only one person alive on one hunting star. These survivors hated the slow people so much that they wanted to bite their flesh and blood. They also joined Su Qingni's team and worked hard to learn skills. They knew that Su Qingni and others were going to the slow people's base, so they wanted to go too. They wanted to kill all the bugs. Relying on spaceships and mechas as cover, Su Qingni and others sneaked into the slow people's base. It was a massacre. The bugs in the base were very relaxed and did not wear mechas, so they were easily killed by Su Qingni and others. Before they died, they still couldn't figure out why their companions would kill them. They didn't know that the existence they thought was like ants had come to them and raised the sickle of revenge to them. Although it was a one-sided massacre, when the insects reacted, Su Qingni's people suffered casualties. In the end, the insects were all wiped out. Half of Su Qingni's people died, and only more than 200 people survived, but they were all injured, and even Su Qingni was injured. We won. Su Qingni stood among the corpses of the insects and said to all his companions. There was no cheering. Everyone's first reaction was to shed tears, followed by one cry after another. Some people even sat on the ground while operating the mecha, hugged the thigh of the mecha, and began to cry. Su Qingni was also infected, but it was impossible for him to shed tears. Since the final battle of the Lich War, Su Qingni has never shed tears again. Su Qingni walked to the main control room of the base, opened the Sloyan database, and began to study. Su Qingni didn't know when the crying stopped. She only knew that Sloka, Saniel and other dwarves came to her side and wanted to learn the materials. Su Qingni generously shared them. They studied the materials and almost forgot to eat and sleep. It was only when Olibert and Mingaya brought food to them that they ate and studied. How did the leader's head grow? It's even more powerful than the dwarves. Rutherford exclaimed in admiration. The hand he didn't have was installed with a mechanical hand, made by the dwarves, which was as flexible as the original hand, and had great strength and destructive power. He was very satisfied. Mingaya said, I always felt that the boss was not a blue star person. Do you think that the boss might be a resident of a planet in the Interstellar Alliance? Because of a disaster on her own planet, the boss's parents sent her to escape in a lifeboat. The lifeboat drifted to Earth, and the baby was adopted as an ordinary baby, and then grew up as an Earthling. Guanyi, why does this experience sound so familiar? Gauze Hongho said, this is Superman's experience, Brother Guan. After he reminded them, the other Blue Star people also remembered it. Ellen smiled and said, there are still differences. Superman has developed limbs and a simple mind. Our boss has developed limbs and a brain, and is more powerful than Superman. As a powerful special forces soldier, he admires the strong the most. Su Qingni's strength impressed him and made him Su Qingni's most loyal and obedient subordinate, and he was also a Su Qingni fan. However, there are not too many people like him in the whole team. Little Bao Ziguagua walked past several people with his short legs, and a hint of pride flashed in his eyes. Su Qingni led the dwarves to learn the technology of the slow people. She sent Olibert, Guan Yi, Yingyu and others to take 10 spaceships to send the people living on the 5th hunting planet back to their respective planets. Of course, if Olibert and others want to go home and return to their own planets, they can do so. However, although Olibert and others wanted to return to their own planets at first, after following Su Qingni and experiencing so much, their mentality has changed. Even if they return to their own planets, they may not be able to adapt to their original lives. What's more, they all know why Su Qingni and the dwarves studied the technology left by the slow people so hard, because Su Qingni wanted to find the wormhole that the slow people passed through, and wanted to stabilize the wormhole, and then go to the area where the Interstellar Alliance is located. Su Qingni wants the Milky Way civilization to be listed in the Interstellar Alliance. Even if the Milky Way civilization is far behind the Interstellar Alliance, the Interstellar Convention stipulates that if a civilization is listed in the Interstellar, the other civilizations cannot attack the new civilization and enslave the new civilization. In order to prevent this slowing people from happening again, Su Qingni had to let the Milky Way join the Interstellar Alliance. People like Olibert and Guan Yi had the same idea as Su Qingni, and after seeing the vastness of the Milky Way, they wanted to see the vastness of the universe even more. They were full of longing for the Interstellar Alliance, the universe and planets outside the Milky Way. Therefore, Su Qingni was very relieved. She was not worried that these men she had brought up would stay on their original planets. Look, in just half a year, everyone came back. Chapter 200 Prey 18. On the Blue Star, the disappearances that occur every year have attracted the attention of various countries. However, even the most powerful detectives cannot find out where the missing people have gone. Many people have disappeared this year, but they are distributed all over the world and have not caused much waves. However, this year is different from previous years. Some of the missing people suddenly appeared again. Although the number of people has decreased by more than 90%, nearly 100,000 people have disappeared, and now only less than 1,000 people have appeared. These people were controlled, and then the top leaders of the Blue Star heard an incredible answer. These people were abducted by aliens. The aliens put them into different primitive planets and let them adapt to the primitive planets for a month. After a month, the aliens will start hunting games, and they are the prey of the aliens. From these people, the top leaders of the Blue Star learned that the aliens who kidnapped them were some guys with bodies like bugs. They're villains. In addition to bugs, there are other aliens. Like the people of the Blue Star, they are prey abducted by alien bugs to primitive planets. There are many hunting planets for alien bugs, and the entire Milky Way is within the range of alien bug forces. The reason why only these people are left is that the Blue Star people in other hunting grounds are not as lucky as them and were killed by alien bugs. However, the evil deeds of alien bugs aroused the resistance of the people on one of the hunting planets. These people are very powerful. Under the leadership of a Blue Star woman, they killed the bugs, robbed the bugs' mechas and spaceships, formed a team, and flew to one hunting planet after another with masters from different planets to hunt bugs and rescue the people on the planet. Finally, they went to the base of the alien bugs and fought a big battle with the alien bugs. In the end, these people won and all the bugs were eliminated. Hearing that all the bugs were eliminated, the senior officials of Blue Star were relieved. They were worried that the bugs still existed and would turn Blue Star into a hunting ground for bugs sooner or later. Being able to abduct Blue Star people to other planets silently and travel through the Milky Way shows how high the technology of the bug aliens is. Compared with them, the technology of Blue Star is compared to slag. What is the name of that Blue Star woman? Asked a senior official of Blue Star. They were very happy that the person who could command people from other planets and master powerful technology and weapons was from their Blue Star. They could find the woman's family, treat her family well, and thus build a relationship with her, and get alien high technology and unimaginable benefits from her. I don't know. The people who returned to Earth answered, except for the most loyal subordinates around that person, no one knows her name. What about her appearance? Describe it. The people who returned to Earth still didn't know. We haven't seen her. The senior officials of Blue Star. Seeing that their expressions were not very good, one person shrank his neck and said the information he knew. The leader seems to be from Rabbit Country. The leader of Rabbit Country was proud. We are Rabbit Country. Haha, good, great. Our Rabbit Country is vast and rich in resources, and has outstanding people. Any woman can become a leader who controls many aliens. The senior officials of other countries stared at the senior officials of Rabbit Country with envy and jealousy. Another person broke the news. The leader is an ancient warrior, and he also taught the aliens to learn internal skills. Rabbit Country senior officials, after returning to the country, they will immediately send people to find ancient warriors living in seclusion in various places. Senior officials from other countries, internal skills? It is said that there are many introductions to internal skills on the Chinese internet. After returning, they will have people collect information about internal skills. A senior official from Blue Star asked, "Has the leader returned to Blue Star?" Everyone shook their heads, and one person said, The leader and her subordinates are staying at the base of the alien bugs, not returning to their respective planets. All the senior officials from Blue Star frowned. Not returning to their respective planets? What do they want to do? Do they want to master the technology of the alien bugs and control the Milky Way? Are they a group of ambitious people? All the senior officials were very worried. Another person told the newsy new, which slightly dispelled the concerns of the senior officials. It is said that they are going to study the technology of traveling through wormholes and go to the Interstellar Alliance. The Interstellar Alliance. It is an alliance of civilizations in the universe. The reason why the Milky Way did not join the alliance is that the civilization of the Milky Way is too low level to join the alliance, and it has not even heard of the name of the Interstellar Alliance. Moreover, it is said that the location of the Milky Way is too remote, and the people of the Interstellar Alliance do not know the existence of the Milky Way civilization. The senior executives of Blue Star looked at each other in surprise. Should they be grateful that the Milky Way where they are located is too remote? Otherwise, with their current level of civilization, they would have been destroyed by other advanced civilizations long ago. Perhaps, we don't have to worry too much? A senior executive of Blue Star said. The other senior executives all nodded, but they knew in their hearts that it was impossible not to worry. This matter was regarded as the top secret of Blue Star. Those who returned to Earth went through the deepest hypnosis, forgot that they were kidnapped and forgot about the aliens, and were then released home and reunited with their families. They forgot, but the senior executives of Blue Star did not forget that more satellites and space stations were sent into space to monitor information from outer space. Scientists were more valued, received a lot of research funds, and worked harder to study high-tech. The same thing happened on many planets. On Takel, when Alibert left, he left behind some of the inner cultivation techniques. The Takel leaders organized ordinary people to practice this part of the techniques. After practicing, ordinary people are not as powerful as Alibert, but their combat power can also be comparable to that of people with special abilities. The lives of ordinary people have changed a lot, and they can do many things that people with special abilities cannot do. The Milky Way is undergoing slow but huge changes because of those who return to their respective planets, because of Su Qingni and Alibert and others. It took nearly 5 years for Su Qingni and Scarlo and others to fully understand the technology of the Sloyans. It took more than 5 years for them to find the wormhole that the Sloyans had passed through and completely stabilize the wormhole. Today, everyone stood in front of Su Qingni in high spirits. Su Qingni smiled at everyone and asked, "Are you all ready?" "Yes." Everyone answered loudly, and the sound was deafening. "Then let's go." Su Qingni gave an order, and Scarlo pressed the start button. Everyone's feet swayed for a while, and the spacecraft started. The place where they are now is the Sloyan base, which is actually an oversized spaceship. In the past, the spaceships they intercepted on the hunting planet were less than 1/10,000th of this one. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.